going on in this small tiny nation. Every day we getting somebody coming from another nation. Near and far, they come here and they prosper. Hey. Illegal migrants don't care, I wonder if they were invited here. Broken laws, who cares? Welcome to the Bahamas, where anything goes and the citizens are sitting in the second row, whilst everybody else is treated like first class. Now you see why I'm mad. I mean, this feels like an invasion. They come here and doing better than you and me. No expenses paid, tax free. This been going on since 1973. These people been living more independent than me. They don't care about the law, the natural born citizen of this country. Lousy leaders are to blame, always looking for votes, always crying about something to get in. The blame starts for change, time for change, time to free ourselves from citizen oppression. Welcome to the Bahamas, where anything goes and the citizens are sitting in the second row, whilst everybody else is treated like first class. Nah, you see why I'm mad. I thought they said this land was for Bahamians. What a joke, this is worldwide invasion. Come on and take the whole pie, keep your eye on the leaders though, cause if it gets dark too early, most likely they just sold the sun out the sky. And if the beach look like the rocks, it's because they sold all the sand. Greedy, lousy politicians, all they good for is selling off our islands, our beautiful Bahama land. I've been tired, time to change it, I'm giving it one more try. Just want a better Bahamas, just need a future for our sons and daughters. This time around I'm voting for the CEO. Anything is better than what I've gotten over the last 25 years. What a mess, I think it's high time Bohemians are first. I see plenty in this country and all of that is mine. Tired of sitting in the back row while everybody else eating the peas and rice. That's why I vote in CEO. Changing coming, change is here, changing coming. Changing coming, change is here, changing coming. Changing coming, change is here, changing coming. Changing coming, change is here, changing coming.
Whoa, girls, we outdoing it.
I was in horror. I'm speaking publicly because I have in my possession, in my bag, a CD, because I wanted to make sure I heard what I heard this week. As one of our ministers of foreign affairs stood up in Parliament this last few days and proudly stated that he's been in this government process for 30 years of his life. And he gave his whole life to politics. And he built it up very nice. How he served to the point where he even didn't get married. He wanted to dedicate himself totally. I'm talking to you, keep the TV on. I know what I heard. I heard this myself. And I got the CD to prove it. He said, I worked 30 years of my life. He said, for this moment. What moment? And then he said it. He said, you know, when I first entered these hallowed halls of your parliament, my personal life and my private life could not be spoken of publicly. And my decisions that I made about my personal orientations, I couldn't even mention it when I first entered these halls. But we've come a long way, he says. He said, because now my bishop has finally seen the light. And I can now say in these hallowed halls without shame that I support the gay and lesbian and transsexual organization that was said in your country 5 days ago. In Parliament, the house you built. He abused our house to promote his personal decision. He wasn't doing the people's business. Let me quote it again. Every other entity in society has a plan. And their plan is to what? Affect, influence, and control the changes in society. Let me tell you what he said. He said, I've been in here all these years, and now I could plan to leave. Because what I came in to do, I got the CD, has now arrived, he says. Anglican Church in the Bahamas has sanctioned it.
We live in a country where are a part of our educational enterprise are the children of illegal immigrants. We have a problem that needs to be addressed. Brethren and sisters, there is a humane way, yes. There is a need for labor force, yes. But we are in an age where in a particular school in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, children of illegal immigrants lift up a particular flag and dare Bahamian students to pass that way because they declare that is their territory. This is what we are up against. And unless somebody is brave enough to say that
Amen.
has to be done,
Amen. Right setting.
what happens? For after all, we fought for the Bahamas, for Bahamians, and after 57 years, there ought to be a Bahamian people who are prepared to take charge and to decree and declare that while we celebrate what others have done and while we sympathize with the plight of others, we do not do so at our own peril, for we cannot cut off our nose to spite our face.
Well, Mr. Lincoln Bean, I had to agree with you. I had to wait to agree with you until this shit happened. Well, I started and as you could see off today, I don't have to do anymore because the Haitians get all the work now. The Haitians get all the construction jobs. So if you was a carpenter and you was work for 200 a day or even 150, you can't make that no more because the Haitians working for 100. So I understand what you're saying, Lincoln. I used to pay now, and I actually used to help work, but I can't get a helper spot right now because too much Haitians on the job. There's nowhere for me to work. But they say that the young Bahamian men lazy, they don't want to work, but this is why I ain't to work. And I used to skill painter, and it's hard for me to go on the site and find a skilled painter job because anyway I go they like $80 a day. Like, I'm a skilled painter, I have all my tools. Why you trying to give me? I just give him $80 a day. Hey boss, just make it. Yeah, I make it $80 a day. Oh, that's why, because Haitians taking over. That's it for.
I am live in Grand Bahama in Marco City with Miss Irma. I got a message for the young people. What you got to say to the young people, Miss Irma?
I just wanted to apologize to y'all because at 85, all my years, I didn't know what I know now, what Mr. Bain talking about. I didn't know. And I am so sorry. I apologize to y'all. But y'all listen to Mr. Bain. God sent him to free us. Really free us.
So you didn't know about the natural resources?
Didn't know about the natural resources. And right here in Grand Bahama, didn't know what was
You
going
thought
on.
we had none?
Child,
So you couldn't fight for us if you didn't
Couldn't
know.
fight. Didn't know.
But now we know we gotta fight, right?
Oh yeah.
But
Oh,
we can
yeah.
fight in honor of you.
Yes, sir.
You
Thank
work hard in this land and we can fight for you.
Thank you.
Ms. Irma was F&M all from 1972. She voted
Mm-hmm.
PLP once in 68. And from 72 to now she was F&M. But this time she decided to be COI. Why you want to be COI?
Yeah.
Because I know the truth now. And the Bible says the truth shall set you free. So I'm free. You know?
Yes.
Thank you. We can fight this fight for you. They say the old people stuck in their ways and they're not catching on. But I tell you, the majority of the elderly people, they now see the truth. And they are going to help us to bring that change. Thank
What she
you.
tell us about, there was a gate between Freeport and 8 Mile Road.
Yes, it was.
You sure?
Yeah, man. In the 70s, I think it was.
Oh.
When they first opened.
They put All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're so sorry about that. We were operating without audio. No one was here paying attention to what we're doing. So um, um, we're stuck without it. Again, we don't have our usual camera crew in here to deal with this kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, I had this whole diatribe for y'all. Um, but here we go. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to have an interesting conversation. We want you to be here for this conversation. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. Uh, we're going to be talking about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That many persons who work in the ministry feels has been running like a dollhouse. All right. Many ministries are run like a mom and pop shop, but of course, just going to test the audio for a second. Of course, there are persons who work at the ministry and who used to work at the ministry who feel like it's run like a dollhouse, and we don't mean to seem mean, but we can't have our country running improperly. And as citizens, we have a right and a duty to speak up. Every ministry must avoid corruption and avoid the appearance of corruption. And so we are going to be presenting some documents today, um, some documents to show you what's really been going on at the ministry. And once we have presented these documents today, and we're going to be giving you some information and some facts. And once we've done that today, we're going to write asking the Ministry of Police to investigate the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and then determine. We're also going to call for the Auditor General to pay attention to what's going on at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But we need a deep dive into what's going on there. We may even need a commission of inquiry. We're going to show you documents to show you how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has changed, has transformed since this administration has gone there. How it has transformed into a dolly house that thinks that they're playing with monopoly money. And so we're not playing today. Fred Mitchell wanted our attention. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs was the one ministry that no one paid attention to. No one thought about them when they thought about ministries that could have corruption. You would think about the Ministry of Works, immigration, anywhere where they're doing stuff and doing contract, but no one ever thought about them. Everyone just thought, okay, that's just the ambassadors and them kind of people. We're not interested in that. But Fred Mitchell caused us to do a deep dive. And when Fred Mitchell went after us, many of the people who work there and who used to work there decided that they had something to say, that they did not like what they experienced. They just felt there was no hope. That there's no one to complain to. There are persons there or who were there who feel like Fred Mitchell is actually running this country. Like he does what he wants to do. He gets with what he wants to get with. That Brave Davis isn't running this country. Fred Mitchell is. And he's running this country with an agenda, the agenda that Dr. Miles talked about in that video that we played earlier. That agenda. And he has an international agenda that he is pushing. That is not our agenda. That is not what our country is about. And we're going to have a conversation about that today. But before we get started with that, ladies and gentlemen, we want to we want to speak to the people of Pinewood. My people of Pinewood, you know what you've been suffering from, what we have been suffering from for the last 4 decades. You know what we have been suffering from. You know that the FNM and PLP partnered together with a company called Arawak Homes, and they made billions of dollars. First, Pinewood Gardens Limited cut down all of the hills in Pinewood. Pinewood was hills just like Garden Hills. You can still see some hills in Pinewood. Pinewood was never swamp, and it is not swamp. It is still actually 20 and 22 feet above sea level. It was never swamp. It was actually hills. And we did a documentary that's still on our website that you can go and see the truth about what happened in Pinewood Gardens. They cut down the hills, made a lot of money selling the limestone, and then after they went too low, they came back and developed it and put shoddy houses there, gave us no drainage, etc. But what happened when they were cutting the hills is that all of the rumbling and all of the moving of the land, it destroyed the opening and holes and craters in the ground where the water goes down to escape. And so when water goes on land, it goes through the cracks and crevices. Imagine cheddar cheese or imagine a sponge. The water goes in the sponges, and that's what happens. But what happened is because of the dynamiting of the canals next to it and all of the tractors breaking down the land, it crushed it so the land is more compact now. And so the water has nowhere to go. That's the problem with Pinewood. It's not that it's a swamp. The water has nowhere to go. And they built it, uh, took all of our resources, our money, and then didn't even give us drains. And they know that drains won't work there. There's a proper solution. And again, that is also on our website. But to our people of Pinewood, the flood is coming. It's going to rain. Be very careful. Every few years, we lose everything. But we keep voting for them, knowing that they're not going to do anything. This minister came in promising to help. The rain is happening now. He's not even there. The previous minister came in promising to help. Nothing. The one before him, it only cost $10 million to fix this problem. But none of them will fix the problem. We're going to do that for you. Okay? And maybe before this is over, I'll play the video that shows the solution. But I want to get to this. But before we get to dealing with the dollhouse, the big dollhouse called the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I just want to remember a man who I've known all my life. I put out a press statement, but I want to say a little bit more. Vaughn Miller is someone I knew from I was a child. I was a music prodigy. I was a singer, a musician. I played piano, the organ, etc. And I was in many groups and male groups, etc. And I spent a lot of time singing. And I could tell you that Vaughn Miller was someone who encouraged me and us over the years. He was always known for his smooth but raspy voice on the radio, his distinctive voice on the radio. He is a legend on the radio. He's a man who always stood up when he worked at ZNS. He led protests. He always stood up for what is right, even if it was going to cost him in the long run. He always stood up. When he decided to go into politics after becoming a pastor, he continued to stand up. When the government wanted to implement VAT on this nation, on the poor people of this nation, will not implement it but increase it from 7% to 12%. He decided that he would not vote for that. And not just that he didn't vote, because many persons, members of parliament, just cower out by not showing up when the vote is going on. Vaughn decided to speak out against it in the House and outside of the House. He didn't just no show. He decided to speak out against it, along with a couple other strong persons. But he stood up for the people. I remember after that, Vaughn Miller had switched side and gone to the opposition. And the Bahamian Evolution had decided that we wanted to table a bill to make all of our Bahamian people benefit from our natural resources, particularly at the time our aragonite. Vaughn Miller had been the person championing limestone. He had spoken in the House. He had told how much it's valued. He had tabled these bills. He had done what no other MP was willing to do before. Everyone before him was in denial. The only MP who had spoken about our natural resources before him was Sir Lyndon Pinlin. When we got in, he talked about white gold and said how it's form this nation and make us a wealthy nation. That's what Pinlin said. He talked about our other natural resources, even down to the cascarilla bark and other natural resources that we have. It was an amazing speech by Sir Lyndon Pinlin that quickly disappeared. But Vaughn Miller, after him, was the first one to really stand up and say, Bahamas, they've been lying to you. We do have natural resources, and it's worth billions of dollars. And he said one company with one natural resource, the limestone, is taking $5.4 billion worth of our limestone out of this country every year. That's one company and only one natural resource. And that's the raw value. That's not what it's sold for. It could be sold for up to 10 times that amount, 5 times that amount, twice that amount. But that's $5.4 billion. And he sounded the alarm. and became public enemy number one. While he was in opposition, we decided to table the bill. We were tired of talk. We held a protest on Bay Street and we decided to table the bill. We got uh, Frederick McAlpine to, to table the bill. We asked Reese Chipman to second the bill, but we believed, based on what we were hearing, that he might decide not to do it, not to offend those F&M oligarchs or whoever the big people are in the country. So we decided to go and talk to Vaughn Miller, and I had to get permission from Brave Davis for Vaughn Miller to be able to do it. Reese Shipman did decide that he didn't have the courage to do it for whatever reason, and Vaughn Miller stepped up. And he seconded our bill. The bill was tabled in the House. Later, the F&M sent it to committee and then prorogued the House, of course. But that was a bill that if Bahamians had voted for us in the last election, right now you would have been benefiting from exactly what Vaughn Miller had said. Later, Vaughn Miller, after election, Bahamians, we met Bahamians on what they call Crown Land in the West, in the Wellfields they call it, and they called us to join them. And we joined them in their efforts and what they were doing because they felt they were being abused. We realized that some big players wanted to use that land to build subdivision, shopping centers, and a graveyard. And we were getting in their way. The same people who victimized the people of Pinewood Gardens, the same people. And we decided to stand with them, and we stood with them, and we joined them in their fight. The government started coming after us and sending military tanks and machine guns, etc., to Bahamians on our land. Initially, Vaughn Miller was doing what he was told, self-preservation, and he was saying, "Okay, y'all, come off the land," and in a press release from the office of the Prime Minister. But soon after, he came back and he showed the Vaughn Miller of courage again, the superhero Vaughn Miller. And he went to the office of the Prime Minister in a press statement, and he said that I sympathize with those people because I also, like 30,000 other Bahamians, applied for Crown land and didn't even get an answer. The land belongs to the people. It should be for the benefit of the people. And he said that he would not be used to attack his people, and he will not be dealing with that matter anymore. He took a stand. And of course, he took a beating for it, a punishment for it, because the powers that be wanted that land. They don't want individuals to benefit from land because they use our crown land to make their subdivisions, to cut it up and give us a little 50 by 100 with a shabby house on it. That's how they make their money, so they don't want you to have access to that. But Vaughn Miller stood at that moment. Now, since then, he was silenced. They created a Ministry of Natural Resources because of our efforts and our fight and our exposing what was going on. They put him in charge of it, and he was silenced. It's hard to have courage in this country. It's hard when your children have to eat. It's hard when you have a mortgage to pay to stand up in this country. Many MPs know that they get silenced. And this is the routine in this country. And so Vaughn Miller went quiet. But every so often, Vaughn Miller would give me a call to encourage me. And even after Aram Lewis crossed the floor, Vaughn Miller started having the same conversation with me. The conversation continued. We spoke on a pretty much regular basis. And I appreciate his encouragement to stand and fight because he wished he could do what I was doing. In the end, he decided it was too much pressure. When we tabled the bill, the pressure came down to go to every single MP who might cross the floor and read them the riot act, tell them not to dare. And at that point, he decided that he wasn't going forward. But he did express interest in coming with us to transform this. He felt disappointed that his hands were tied for all this time. And he said he had planned to do something big before the election. He said, wait and see, just watch. Just give me some time, you will see. That time didn't come. But I can tell you that his biggest mission was to make the wealth common. And I can assure you that his mission to make the wealth common in the Bahamas, we will carry on that mission. We will continue that mission. To Mr. Vaughn Miller, you've run your race the way you know how. We will carry on that important mission of empowering every Bahamian and making the wealth common. Our sympathies to his family, to his church, to all of his friends. See you soon, Vaughn Miller. One thing I can say about you, personally, you are a good person, a good man with a good heart. And I know that you are resting with your father right now. See you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, with me for this part of the live is our candidate for Nassau Village, who is here in our studio audience, and you would remember. I think we lost a camera over there, so we could get that back up. That if you would remember, we are live in the studio. We are live in studio. So every time we are live, you're able to come and join us and be a part of what it is that we are doing. All right. I'm going to just play a quick video for you again. We're going to get this camera set up. We're going to talk to him. And then it's time to talk about the dollhouse. The dollhouse. Fred Mitchell and them are running a dollhouse. Stay tuned.
I was in horror, and I'm speaking publicly, because I have in my possession in my bag a CD. Wanted to make sure I heard what I heard this week. As one of our ministers of foreign affairs stood up in Parliament this last few days and proudly stated that he's been in this government process for 30 years of his life, and he gave his whole life to politics, and he built it up very nice. How he served to the point where he even didn't get married. He wanted to dedicate himself totally. I'm talking to you, keep the TV on. I know what I heard. I heard this myself, and I got the CD to prove it. He said, I worked 30 years of my life. He said, for this moment. What moment? And then he said it. He said, you know, when I first entered these hallowed halls of your parliament, my personal life and my private life could not be spoken of publicly. And my decisions that I made about my personal orientations, I couldn't even mention it when I first entered these halls. But we've come a long way, he says. He said, because now my bishop has finally seen the light. And I can now say in these hallowed halls without shame that I support the gay and lesbian and transsexual organization that was said in your country 5 days ago. In Parliament, the house you built. He abused our house to promote his personal decision. He wasn't doing the people's business. Let me quote it again. Every other entity in society has a plan. And their plan is to what? Affect, influence, and control the changes in society. Let me tell you what he said. He said, I've been in here all these years, and now I could plan to leave. Because what I came in to do, I got the CD, has now arrived, he says. And the bishop of the Anglican Church in the Bahamas has sanctioned it.
Yes, you can go ahead.
As I started to say that there are very few words that one can say that are comforting at such a time of loss. But to Mr. Miller's wife, Mrs. Cassandra Miller, to his loved ones, family, and friends, I trust that his memory will
Yes, you can go
produce
ahead.
for you joy, it
As I
will bring
started to
back to
say that
you
there are very
good
few
times, it will
words.
provide for you strength and encouragement at this time. May God be with you at this time, providing you what only He can provide. Taking one day at a time, as cliche as that may sound, this too shall pass, but may His good memories, His love for you remain always.
Yeah. So all of it is a part of life, and um, it was sudden. The last thing I want to say about his demise was this serious fact. We received reports from the persons who were there on the ground when it happened that sometime around 11:30 or so there was a lot of commotion, and they went there to assist, and they were trying to get him out of the car to give him CPR, try to resuscitate him, and they were trying to call for an ambulance. But they called for an ambulance, and they were told that there was no ambulance available. And they called both hospitals, and they were told that there was no ambulance available. And this is what Bahamians have to deal with on a daily basis. That we have a country that is failing. This is the second MP that needed an ambulance and couldn't get an ambulance and died. It's the second member of parliament, cabinet minister, to die in 2 years. And both of them needed an ambulance, but there was no ambulance. We have a country that is broken, and at some point we have to face reality that those people we always call qualified and say that they are the good qualified people, and that's who you need to run the country, they've been failing us. You mean you couldn't build a hospital in 70 years? Not one? Only the UBP has built a hospital? You can't buy ambulances? That's just a vehicle. You can't buy ambulances? You can't hire people to drive ambulances? Come on, man. Bahamas, we cannot live in this nightmare. The other day, the hospital had to shut down because there was no electricity and no generator. Come on, man. Is that acceptable?
And they're patting themselves on the back saying, give them another chance because they're doing so well. But one of your cabinet ministers needed an ambulance, and there was none. And we're told that he was taken by private vehicle to doctor's hospital. His pulse was already weak, and it was too late. We can't live like this, Bahamas. We can't. We've been bouncing back and forth, PLP, F&M, like Vaughn Miller did. He was in the F&M, then he was in the PLP, and none worked. The F&M shut him down. The PLP shut him down in a different way. This country isn't working. And so we'd like for the government to confirm whether that is so. Like the people called us and reported to us that they called for an ambulance. We spoke to them, and they said there's no ambulance available in the middle of the night when a storm might have been on the way. No ambulance to rescue the people. And then there are people who are going to be at rallies with pom-pom shaking, saying, I love my body, but you don't love your country. Vaughn Miller was a victim of a broken system like many of us are every day. We received a report that a baby died, and I think they call it the NCIU, in the natal care section, when the lights went off. Government can again confirm that. Come on, Bahamas. This is not acceptable, man. But we'll have that conversation later. Go ahead.
Mr. Bain, the sad thing about Mr. Miller's situation, or another sad thing, is that, as you rightly pointed out, this is not new. I remember 20 years ago, this year, my own mother suffered a heart attack. We lived about 10 minutes away from the hospital, 10 minutes away from PMH. And there were persons calling, and calling for an ambulance for well over 45 minutes. By the time one arrived, she was already dead because there was no ambulance available. This sadly is not new, and those powers that be are demonstrating that they have no intentions of fixing this problem. I had an aunt recently was hospitalized. The condition of the hospital, when I went to visit her, the stench that greeted me, and the condition of the place itself, it was no place even for doctors to be. But these are the things that continue, that have gone on for decades and seem only to be getting worse. But they say, give them another chance. They say, vote for them while we suffer, while the system continues to crumble. But I wonder, Mr. Bain, if and when they get sick, will they go to PMH?
That's the question.
Will they stay at PMH? Will they allow themselves to be treated there? Will there be an ambulance available for them, or will there be airlift? Our people deserve better. Mr. Miller should have had an ambulance at the ready for him.
Wow. Wow.
But change ain't coming. Change is here.
Yeah, so sorry about a little break in there. We're trying to change the background so that it wouldn't interfere with the light as much. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to have a different conversation. It's now time to switch the conversation so that we talk about this country and this nation and where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the big dollhouse. You know, Fred Mitchell has lived a life of a kept man, someone who's well taken care of. But he's been well taken care of by us. We have paid his bills. We have paid for him to travel around the world. We have treated him well. And so when he is so dismissive of Bahamians who disagree with him to insult them like he did with Pastor Miles Monroe before he died, because Pastor Miles Monroe told him to not force his agenda on the Bahamian people, that if you are a homosexual, we don't have a problem with your personal life. No one cares about your personal business, what you do in the confines of your own home. But all Dr. Miles was saying was, don't try to push your agenda on us, and don't leave this country and push that agenda as a Bahamian agenda. That's all Dr. Miles was saying, but he got nasty and insulting with Dr. Miles, which is what he does. Whenever a government minister uses his position to push his agenda or his benefit, it is wrong. It is corrupt. And we will not stand for it anymore. Fred Mitchell, you have traveled the world and lived your caviar dreams and your champagne dreams, but it's time for another generation to take over. We about to open the covers and roll back the lid on the Ministry of Finance. And remember, we weren't even paying attention to you, you know. We weren't checking for you. That was the one ministry no one was paying attention to. The one ministry. Now you cause us to have to unleash the dragon. And let me tell you something, Fred. You know, no one ever really wanted to challenge you before, but you can't win a battle against someone who has nothing to lose. We don't have nothing to lose. It's you who said you need to run again because you can't afford to live if you retire. That's your words. It's you who said you only will be able to afford a funeral and it has to be cremation. That's your words about you. Just about 2 weeks ago. We have nothing to lose. The only thing we fear losing is our nation that y'all are selling out. And we can show the Bahamian people some stuff, and then we can show the Bahamian people some stuff. So I received a call that a young man who is connected to Fred Mitchell wanted to know if I was going to be talking about him on this show, and he wanted mercy. He was asking for mercy, a young PLP young man. And he wanted to know if I was going to be calling his name on this show. And the answer is yes. I'm going to be calling your name on this show because you are benefiting from what's going on. I don't care about your personal life. I don't care about anybody's personal life, you know. But when the public funds are being used in a way that looks suspicious, we as the people have a right to question it. And no MP has a right to be or appear to be nobody's sugar daddy. All right? So, young man, you wanted to know if I'm going to address you? Yes. So just stay tuned. All right? So we can talk about the house, the car, the school fees, trips, Yes, we're going to talk about that because it's our country. And we ain't letting these politicians rape and rob us no more. It's time to stand up, Bahamas, because only them benefiting. Their friends, family, and lovers. All right? And so, y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned. I want to show you something before I get started. I want to show you something before we get started. Um, that. It. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We got some questions for you. We got some questions for you. I'll come back to that, that picture right there in a minute. Fred put out a almost senile WhatsApp talking about me, cursing and carrying on, and I mean, like he's lost his mind. But I think the Bahamian people could be cursing and carrying on after this one. I think they will be. All right. So, all right, let's go. Let's talk about the big dollhouse. First of all, as soon as Fred and them got into power, these kinds of pictures started to get sent back. They started to send back pictures of and crew. Oh, not this one. We put up the wrong picture. While y'all fighting y'all children and y'all friends and cutting each other and putting out the dog over politics, was yesterday in Atlanta. In the picture that you're seeing right here, sorry, I'm supposed to be talking with Fred, but this one up. That is who trouble my pinta next to him, who trouble with Brave Davis, who's next to him, who traveled with Hubert, who's next to him, who traveled with Perry Gladstone Christie, who traveled with Tommy Turnquest, sitting next to him, who traveled with Michael Barnett, sitting next to him. Y'all see? Or y'all still want to play blind? These fellas are one. They are one. Yeah, they went to a wedding. I was informed about it ahead of time. They went to a wedding. Hubert Ingram's daughter married the son of Chuck Virgil, the F&M chairman who was murdered years ago. The son of Linda Virgil, all right, the former judge. And so they flew to Atlanta to have together. And yeah, different people could go to the same event, but these fellas hanging out together. Look at them. They're good friends. While you fighting your friends and family down, while you on social media cussing down total strangers, Bahamians who just want this country to be better, they eating steak and caviar together. Bahamians, all I ask y'all to do is wake up. Watch them. Now, take your seats and watch carefully. These were pictures sent back. These are pictures sent back by Fred Mitchell immediately after. This meal we heard was, we believe, based on looking at what was on the table, $80,000. That's our assumption. This meal right here costs over $80,000, we assume, based on the pictures of the stuff that he sent and how many people was there, etc. We did a calculation. We don't have Freedom of Information Act, so we're free to assume. All right, Fred, you can give the counting and let us know how much it costs. There was actually another meal in Nassau, I was told, that cost even more than that. $110,000. You can let us know if that is the case. It's our money. We deserve to know. But this is them living their best life, enjoying these meals that we as a people paid for. And so on the table in front of them is it's the dollhouse now. In dollhouse, everything is play. But this is real. This right here is caviar, the and caviar. All right. We believe that this is the thousands of dollar caviar based on where they were. All right. Just a little piece of caviar. Your money. That's you who can't get no money from social services because they eating it in caviar. You see? That's the picture Fred Mitchell sent back. He bragged. He put it on social media. It's his pictures. And they are drinking their greatest Grand Vinde 2000. They are drinking the best. So he is in a wine cellar. Wine cellar restaurants are the creme de la creme. This is the wine, the restaurant, the wine cellar. The trips that they say are so necessary to get things done in the it's necessary. You saw the president of prime minister of Barbados something $1 million the whole term or time on travel, and her country beat her down. We spent $58 million during that same period, and we touch it. She had to go in the House of Assembly and justify every dollar, and she account for every dollar and say how she didn't fly first class and she didn't stay in an expensive hotel. These dudes send you all the pictures telling you all, listen, y'all is idiots if y'all don't want them living like that. That's what Fred Mitchell is saying. You the idiot if you don't want to vote for the politicians to live like that. The restaurant is in the wine cellar. See, Fred Mitchell is his plate. He sent a picture of the steak with mushrooms. And you see there? He sent the picture. Bragging while talking down to Bahamians. You are idiots that he should live like this, and whoever he wants to live like this, which we'll get to in a second. You are idiots if you don't want your member of parliament living his best life. They had dessert, amazing dessert that some of you souffle. Souffle. But when it comes to you, the country broke, they ain't got it. You got to wait 3 months or 4 months to get your pay. But they get to spend probably 80 grand now. That's the life they live in. Now I can show you how they could live that life all of a sudden. And then I'm going to show you who else is living that life. And I'm going to show you we got contracts that tell a serious story that needs to be told. So Fred Mitchell, around 1 o'clock this morning, you will be thinking about me. You can send whatever message you want. Only thing we want to know is what happened to the people them money. You worry about that woman money? I worry about the people money. All right? This one meal that we believe costs over $80,000 and you ain't answered that yet. Explain. So let us continue. I'm going to share my screen now and make sure you're sitting down for this because this is going to be a lesson. First, we're going to go over the numbers at this place, and then I can show you some things. All right? I'm going to have a conversation with some permanent secretaries. I'm going to have a conversation about Simon Wilson. And yes, young man, I'm going to call your name. And some other young men. But all this is for the proper running of our nation. Y'all don't have a right to live your best life while taxing us to death and making us suffer. You don't have a right. And we're taking our country back. You're not going to turn this country into Sodom and Gomorrah and have us overrun by foreigners in your ministry. That's not going to happen. Not on my watch. Let's line these documents up. All right, they're lined up. Just waiting for one more. Boom. We're good to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something that has never been done. We're going to go through the actual budget of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I want to show you how it's changed. All right? I want to show you how it's changed. Ministry of Foreign Affairs Head Office Construction Report. It's coming. Now, I'm going to show you some things. Under the F&M, they were accused of giving out a lot of visas, all right? That they were, helping these people. Brent Simonet and them, they were helping a lot of people. But let me share the whole window. All right, boom. But can you guess how much money they were making from visas? How much visas they was giving out? How much money you think they was making from visas?
Maybe 14, $20 million.
The F&M? Nah. They were making visas ain't that expensive. You know how much they're making of visas? It's a small amount. 200 and something thousand. I'm sharing my screen now so persons can see.
Something thousand.
Hold on. Studio audience, I sorry, y'all can't see it on the screen behind us. But let's look at it. So this is the let me show you the numbers. This is the actual revenue for 2020, 2021. All right. So that's July 2020 to July 2021. Because the government changed a couple months after that, right? So this is how much money was made, and I'm highlighting it. This is how much money. I want our studio audience to see this too, right? Let me just change this for their sake. Let me just change the screen while we're here. Okay, so they could see good too. All right, so they could see it. Yeah, there we go. And so, right here, studio audience. Let's see. All right, this is okay. Let's go. Boom, boom. All right, this is how much money they made from passports and visas. So I'm going to start with visas, right? Let's look at the number for visas. As you can see, right on your screen, you see what that says? Sale of visas. This is under the F&M, right? 220,910. That's how much they made. All right? So that's under the F&M. So that's that line right there, visas. That's how much they made. You see the highlighted one? All right. So I'm going to skip to after the PLP took over. So it went from 220,000, right? And when the PLP took over, let's go. Let's do it here too. When the PLP took over, let's see what it jumps to almost immediately. Remember, they started jumping in the planes, they started flooding this country and all that. It immediately jumped to 647,000. 647,000. And some of that 220 was when they took over. So the F&M was actually less than that. All right? So it jumped to and 47,000. So automatically you see the visas started selling like candy.
So almost 430.
All right? Because that number was only up to a certain point, and then after that, the PLP took over for that year. So you add some of that with some of this. All right? You said what's the difference?
426,000. That's nearly 430,000.
Right. And then if you add probably half of the 220, you see how it jumped? All as soon as they got in power. Now let's look at the next year. Let's see if what happens the next year. So now we're gonna jump to the next year that they were in. Let's jump to it. And let's see what it goes to. Sale of visas. Oh, see it right there. See it right there. Come on, let's go. Come on. Sale of visas. Then it jumps in there next year to $1.3 million from $220,000. All right. Some of that, well, half of them probably was about probably 100 and let's say about $120,000, right? For their part of that first year. The PLP took it and jumped. So it went from probably 100 and something, $200,000 to now all of a sudden visas selling like candy. $1.3 million is all of a sudden being made from selling visas. And we start to notice how all these people on the street, everyone got visa all of a sudden. When they do raids, they take the people in, then the people come back out, and all of a sudden all of them got, papers, et cetera, et cetera. But this the visas, this the people starting to flood in. This the flights starting to come. All right? This ain't the work permits and stuff yet, This the visas. This, all of a sudden, we started getting flooded with people coming in on visas. And what the reports we started to get immediately was from persons in Haiti and in Dominican Republic saying that the word on the ground was you spend your money, and they said it's $8,000. You could spend it with someone under the table and you could get a visa. All right? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. All right? $8,000. And you get your visa and you go on the plane to the Bahamas. You got to jump on boat no more. You see how the amount of money is making for visas jumped? See,
over $1 million.
Politicians lie, but the numbers don't lie. You see? So let's go to the next year. All right, let's go to the next year. Do the same thing here. Let's go down to the visas. You follow the money, and then we can see what they were spending the money on, or who they were spending the money on. Since Fred won, talk about money. Let's talk about this money, Fred. This is our money. This is our business. You see, 1.344 million. But guess what? You add it to the rest of the year, all right? The rest of the year is the line next to it, all right? This the 9 months. In 9 months, they did, that's from July 2024 to March 2025, all right? 2025. So that's July last year, 2024, to March this year, right? That alone, they done do 1.76 million. See it there? The second number.
161,000. That's what we're looking at.
That's how much visas, because they flooding on the plane. They add an extra flight.
So that explains all of the persons coming in on Bahamas.
Yes.
From Haiti.
Yes.
Those weekly flights that we've been seeing that's been denied.
Yes.
So it's a sale of visas, as you rightly said.
Yes, but it isn't the money that goes to the government, They don't.
What is this?
They don't care what comes to the government. There's some people we believe, and we want the government to investigate it. That's all. That are on the ground, and we're hearing from people on the ground where they're saying that there's some corrupt people out there that are selling visas.
So the sale of visas, the dollar value jumped from 220,000 to nearly 2 million.
Way more than that. This is only 7 months.
Right.
This 1.7,
Right.
That ain't up to now.
Right.
That's up to March. That's
Right.
only 9
That's
months.
9 months.
So that's 2 million, probably, or even a little bit more by the
And
time as they
there's a
finish.
problem with saying that visas are being sold like candy.
Well, this is evidence, proof that visas are being sold like candy.
Yeah.
Because if you go from
It
sales,
increased exponentially.
if you go from sales of 200,000 a year to $2 million a year,
If
that's
I
a
ran
big
those
jump.
monies through my bank account, they'd call me in.
They would.
They'd call me in. They'd question me.
Yeah.
Because it seems fraudulent.
Yeah. All right. And so this is just a little small example. All right. Let's dig a little deeper because the passport numbers right under the same thing basically happened with the passports. All right. But I'm not going to go into that. You were showing a clip just now
Yes.
with the passports audit.
The Nassau Guardian in February, 12th of February this year, ran a headline said that audit uncovers passport fraud. Not might. This is a bold claim. Audit uncovers passport fraud.
So you think Fred sent the SIB for them?
But we ain't hear about it. So I doubt that.
No, man. Fred had to send the SIB for them. You that ain't true?
Well, I sure didn't. I don't know. Did someone hear? No one? Apparently. What? Go figure.
So here, I'm showing it on the screen when you talk about audit and covers passport fraud. And so there's passport fraud going on.
Confirm.
And again, the visas, it started to skyrocket. We saw the same thing happening with passports, but I can skip along so that we can keep moving. Let me share my screen again. I want to show you how the budget changed. And then I can show you where the money might be going. All right? So let's look at the budget. No one ever paid attention to them before, you know. This is the first time someone looking at Fred. Why Fred always want this particular ministry? Why he always running for this? He don't want no other ministry. He want to travel and ball and live in hotel and fly. And he want this ministry. The ministry that deals with a serious amount of money. Now watch this. I'm going to share my screen again. All right. And we're going to go back to the numbers because politicians lie, numbers don't lie. So let's go back to year number 1. All right, we can make a little move here. Let's go back to year number 1. I want to go back to the numbers. All right, so I want to show you this number right here on the screen. There's so much to show you all with this, but I'm just showing you the direction to go in, the direction to look at. This is what in 2020, 2021 budget, all right, this is what 2 ministries that were together made. So look at this line right here that I just highlighted. Yeah, look at this line right here. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Public Service. There's 2 ministries together,
Right.
not one. This is what they made. So you could probably divide it by 2, all right? They made $28 million. All right, that's it there, right there on the screen. $28 million they made for that year. All right, this first line is what they made. $28 million they made that year. That's what the F&M did. So if you divide it by 2, they probably made
Roughly 14 and a half
14,
million
yeah.
dollars.
All right, we don't know if it's really divided by 2,
Yeah.
but we're just playing with numbers. So about $14.5 million is what the ministry would have made. And so it's 28 between the 2 ministries. All right. Now, let's see if that increases or if that stays the same. So $28 million for 2 ministries. So we're going to switch over now to the next year. And let's see what that turns into. All right. So the next year, this is remember they had a part of this year and a part of the next year. So it's $29 million, right? For 2 ministries. Okay. That's when they just start. Now let's see where this goes. Sorry, let's go back. Let's see where this goes. Let's keep going. So that's when they just reach, when they're trying to get things together. Holy crap. Now this one ministry, see it here? It's the same line item. All right. Recurrent. All right. This is $41 million in expenditure. That's what we're looking at. Sorry, this
Yeah,
isn't income, this is expenditure.
Expenditure.
All right? All of it is expenditure. So two ministries spend $28 million.
And then double that spending.
All right?
Basically.
And now the spending is doubled. All right? When the PLP got in, their spending is doubled to $41.8 million. Not double, that's more than double.
Yeah.
This is double what two ministries did, because now they moved the other ministry because Fred didn't want no one in his business.
It's just foreign affairs.
So now this is just foreign affairs. Remember, before it was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the whole public service.
Right.
The expenditure, the two of them together was 28 million. Now, Fred them come in and it jumps to one ministry, Fred alone. $41.8 million is the expenditure. All right? So what they spending all this money on all of a sudden? What Fred, what the money for? What's going on here?
It's an addition of $13 million for one ministry.
If one ministry was about 14 million, no, there's way more than this 41.
So looking at this stat, the ministry spent enough for the two ministries combined the
For
previous
four
year.
ministries, almost.
Yeah.
For four ministries. All right? Because now there's 41. So we assume that there was but 14
Well,
and a
that's
half
true. That's true.
for one ministry. And now it's 41 for one ministry. Jesus.
That's nearly
What
three
Fred them
ministries.
spending this money on?
Yeah.
No one was watching him. No one was paying attention to him. So let's keep going. Now, this is the current one. This up to this is up to expenditure. That's the 2023 to 2024. All right, the July 2023 to July 2024. This ain't up to date yet, right? It jumped to $50 million. How you get from 14 million to 50 million? 49.8 to be exact. I don't want them to say we just lied, right? 50 million, about 50 million. What Fred them buying? This is caviar expensive, you know. This is some serious stuff. And then for the 9 months from July 2024 to March of this year, Fred, the same brave big budget, you know, the same brave 58 million, Fred spent $40 million. This ain't the full year. 40. What Fred spend $40 million on?
It's a very good question, Mr. B. Why was there a need for the continual increase, and not just by a million or two, but each time it covered the expenditure for another ministry?
How come Pintari ain't talking about this? How come?
I mean, if we're looking at $14 million, assuming, so what's the money going for?
We can show you what the money is going for.
Flights?
And
Resort?
all right.
$80,000 meal?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. So this is their expenses, right? It's personal emoluments. It's a big word. Personal emoluments. That means the money that goes to Fred and his dollhouse. Personal emoluments. Salaries, permanent and pensionable. 60, well anyway, salaries altogether, $16.7 million. $16.7 million. That's just salaries. All right. The salaried contract workers is more than the salaried permanent and pensionable. 6.1 million for the permanent pensionable, and contract is $7.6 million. $16 million is salary. All right. Um, when Minister Dem was there, it was only 1 million for contract workers. So Fred them grabbing a bunch of people and giving them contract. And the salary was 6 billion. Hourly wages was the same too, but the contract workers is where it changed. Who won these contracts? You see? So let's go back to modern times. And so far, from July to March of this year, it's already $13.3 million in salaries. So let's keep going. Honoraria, 180,000. Um, uh, they have housing allowance. Now, you see housing allowance says zero, right?
Right.
But housing allowance appears to be zero because you ain't getting allowance. They're just paying for your housing. I can show you that.
Mm.
So no housing allowance.
Mhm.
We just paying for your housing. Although for 9 months already they didn't spend, give people 6,300 for a little allowance, right? Educational allowance. Oh my God.
It's 12,000.
They paying no right here. 810,900. So $811,000 for school fees for someone.
For who?
For school fees.
No, for whom?
I guess tell you in a minute. Stay tuned. So, fellas over there, school fee paid for by the ministry.
Before you tell me for whom, where? Where?
In different area codes.
Aye.
They professionals. So he got pros in different area codes.
These degreed persons.
They could be degreed when he finished with them. So $811,000 is paying for school fees.
No man, I can't.
You making that kind of money to pay for people's school fee? You should come to that ministry educated.
But hold on. Isn't there a problem with paying public workers what was just due?
Yeah, what they've already worked for. They pay transport mileage allowance, special allowance, duty allowance, because they get breaks on duties.
What is acting allowance?
Acting allowance. Now, if Pintad was in power, I'd say that's Pintad, but I don't know what an acting allowance is. I'll be honest with you. All right, clothing allowance. They gotta wear them. They gotta look good. All right, so that's clothing allowance. $63,000. Someone getting clothing allowance.
Aren't you a little curious?
Someone getting clothes.
I'm sorry to stop you, but aren't you a little curious about the acting allowance? Just a little bit.
I am extremely curious about the acting allowance. Now, this is the funny one. Hardship allowance.
Wait.
So
Sorry. Wait.
listen,
Wait.
listen, when you eating that nice tomahawk steak, that $300 steak or $500 steak, that's hard. So that's hardship. To have to digest all of that steak.
Hardship.
Living in fancy hotels, renting first class. They're buying BMWs. The same BMWs the PM got, they got for Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They got two of them, or two or three.
So, how is it that public workers don't get hardship allowance?
I got to ask the public workers in here in a minute. Now hold on, wait. official entertainment allowance. They pay for their entertainment and all.
I have to put on my readers because this,
Entertainment allowance.
entertainment. So you're saying to me, hold on, wait now.
Hold on. Personal emoluments. $21.5 million.
But we can't buy an ambulance.
Not one ambulance. They pay in school fee for fellas, but we don't have an ambulance to save the MP.
You did stress the word personal, right?
Personal emoluments. You put it in a big word, so if people read it, they wouldn't know what that means.
It sounds official.
Yeah, it sounds sophisticated and official. Use of goods and services. Hey, I gotta keep going. Use of goods and services, because I want to talk about some stuff. I got some documents to show some people. All right? Airport transfers for purposes in the Bahamas, subsistence for travel outside of the Bahamas, because they don't take the numbers out of this, they take the numbers out of another budget for them to travel. All right? International travel, subsistence. All right? All of this. Now, here we go. Rent, living accommodations, $6.2 million. They pay in for rent.
What are they renting? Is this the embassy?
No, they rent in apartments and houses
No, man, this has to be.
for people.
That cannot be, Mr. B. These are our politicians. Don't they have our best interest at heart?
No.
Ah,
If they did, we would have a hospital. Our roads would be fixed. We would have good education. You don't watch what they say, you watch what they do.
so
Rent. I can get to that. Rent. And we can stay on this page. And go look at the other budgets. I'm trying to keep going for time because I want people to call in too. You see how it jump.
yes.
Everything jump. The money, well, you see it jump up to $50 million from 14.5 assumed. So everything jumped all of a sudden. Office rent, they only spending $2.9 million on office rent. That's the stuff we need. But 5-bedroom houses, they got one fella living in a 5-bedroom house. Only him, you know. He in a 5-bedroom mansion.
Mr. Bin, we have people who are living on the street in cars or in abandoned buildings. We have Bahamians who are struggling, whose lives are getting worse day by day, who cannot find another meal. I have never seen so many beggars my whole life on the streets, here, there, everywhere. I've never seen so many homeless people, but they have hardship.
Well, if they fellas, all they gotta do is bow to the Lord of the Dollhouse and join the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they wouldn't have to live on the streets no more.
Life for Bahamians is hard. We need a hardship allowance from our natural resources. Life is hard. Suicides are up. People cannot cope. The money is there.
Yes, it is. Look at these numbers. People still on here looking at these numbers. Lord, I can't see your comments. I'm sorry if anyone talking to me on there. But I know some of y'all in shock for what y'all are seeing. But this is ridiculous. All right. Just more numbers. More numbers here as we keep going. So they paying $4.5 million for different services. All right.
I'm curious for what the miscellaneous would say. You know, there's always a miscellaneous.
So your operational expenses, this what it takes to operate things, is only 5.7 million, but your personal emoluments is 20 something million dollars.
Hold on.
with your operational expenses. See it right
So
there?
if you only need an operational expenses might sound like something big. So break it down for for me. When we let's get rid of the word operational expenses. I'm your everyday behemoth. What does that mean in my language? This all it takes to do the job. That's what it means. So why all the rest? Why is the personal emolument section so much bigger?
Look at these other expenses. Caribbean Regional Secretariat, or CARICOM, $2.5 million we spend as a people. I'm showing this because most people have never seen these kind of numbers. CARICOM, and this is last year now. CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security, 970 million, sorry, $1,000. And they've already for 9 months spent that same amount. All right. Commonwealth Fund for Technical Operations. See, all of these things they are spending on, and they're seeing included with all the other fancy stuff that they didn't spend on. But what we need to know is where all this money gained. World Organization, $60,000.
And what for exactly?
Listen,
What for exactly?
UNESCO, 183,000. United Nations peacekeeping operations, we spend $2 million on that a year. See it right there. We spend $2 million a year.
Here's a question for the peacekeeping operations. Does any of that money fund our law enforcement officers?
No. In grants that they give out to these organizations, $8.6 million in grants to them organizations that we get no benefit
So
from.
that was my
Now I
next
see how
question.
Trump feels.
Where is the benefit for us? Where is the border protection for us?
There is none.
Where is the defense force mechanisms, the technology for them to do an even better job? Where?
Yeah.
And then we
All
still
right.
have to turn around and borrow monies. Why?
All right. So now let's take this a little deeper. All right. If you're watching online, it's time to go deeper. Let's go deeper. All right. Let's go deeper. So, after Fred Mitchell attacked us, person started from his ministry. I mean, hard, lifelong PLPs who don't like what they see going on. People who have only ever voted PLP, including up to the last election. All right? Decided that enough is enough and that ministry is going crazy. They're saying a lot of people are leaving the ministry because they don't like what is going on there. A lot of people are leaving the ministry and they feel that it is not being run like a tuck shop, but it's being run like a dollhouse. All right? And many persons are extremely upset. All right? And so we've seen wastage in this ministry before. When Dr. Minis was there, they spent a bunch of money on carpet and rugs and all that, and they went crazy. The PLP eat them alive on that. All right, when they did renovations to one of the places, but they're doing the same thing, and we keep getting swingers of people. The FNM do it, the PLP do it, the FNM do it. Now these said going worse. They jumped that budget from the expenditure from 14 million, we believe, to 50 million. All right, and it's going to be higher by the end of this year. We believe it's going to be much higher, because that was only up to March. When we get the numbers for up to July, I believe it's going to be much higher. I believe, but all this traveling going on. So I think it's time for us to figure out what all this traveling was for and who's doing all this traveling. All right, and then we could get to these contracts and all this stuff that been going out. All right, we have contracts in hand. All right. Let's talk about the contracts first. All right, and then we go see who been traveling. All right. Um, it appears to some folks in the ministry that they would need something done. And then an estimate would go out. The estimate might be $25,000, right? And then all of a sudden, they switch, everything gets switched, someone else dealing with it, and it jumps to 90 something thousand or $100,000. All right? Just a little small little task, right? That shouldn't be that much. And so there's a lot of concern with that kind of stuff. Stuff will jump from 40 something thousand and then end up four times as what it really was in the beginning. And there's some concern there. And if these allegations are real, we want the Auditor General to audit this and and let the people know what's really going on. All right, because we see things like this happening, and we're very concerned with these things that we see happening. All right, so um, let's pull up some contracts. All right, we see some things happening. We also see we're hearing of a small number of people getting the contracts to do works. You don't think about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but guess what? All of their buildings, all of the apartments, everything have to be renovated, have to be maintained, etc. So contracts are going out. All of their offices, etc. The AC got to maintain, and everything got to maintain. The windows got to clean, and they are dealing with a lot of contracts. All right. And no one is paying attention to that. And so, what some people are complaining is that they want the minister to answer how contracts are, when the estimate comes out, is one thing. Then it's another thing by the time as the contract goes forward. This is what we need to know, and who is really behind these kinds of things. Let me pull up a couple of these. It might be kind of repetitive. But I'm going to pull up some of these so y'all can see them. You know what? In fact, I want you to see it big. So let me pull it up and share the screen so y'all can see it good. I want Fred be able to see it. All right. So, Fred, I need you to explain some things to me. All right. Let's start here. Um, Good. Opening it now. Then we're going to share it for you. So, Fred, because what we're doing is, what our people did was tell us to let you see it so that you will know that if we got this, we got more. All right? And so we know with the Tantan Makutu, you send out the SIB and you want to silence people because they're questioning the government, because we don't have a sovereign, sorry, multitasking. We don't have a Freedom of Information Act. So since we don't have a Freedom of Information Act, we got to be the Freedom of Information Act. And we willing to go to jail for this. So what y'all looking at is a contract. This is my phone ringing. I know who calling me while I live. But this is uh, that's Fred. Fred, you calling me? Fred, don't call me. All right, don't call me. Don't call me, Fred. Stop it. Um, this is a contract that you're looking at. I'm trying to make it big. Oh, it's sideways. Anyway, you can get the gist of it. This is one of the contracts. Okay, I can edit it. Oh, it was perfect. Okay, hold on. There we go. So these little small little things, right? So like this is the West Wing. Deep clean and sanitize. All right. 15-ton air handlers using pressure washer and coiler. So pressure wash air handler. So you take a pressure washer and you spray it. $3,000. All right. And there's two of them, so that's $6,000. All right, clean and sanitize all return supply air grills. All right, that's the grills for the AC. All right, 2,500. E-swing, deep clean and sanitize three 10-ton air handlers. All right, $7,350. All right, clean and sanitize all return supply grills, 2,500. Increase air velocity to back office, $4,000. All right. Um, you could have put in a whole new AC for that. But anyway, so we just want them know we know. All right. Um, so next one. Okay. Same thing as a repeat. All right. The VIP lounge at the airport, because you got to have VIPs. All right. Because the VIP lounge at the airport, clean and sanitize the air ducts. This AC work. All right. 2,000. Clean, sanitize lounge chairs, $1,650. So the chairs, like how we have these chairs in here, just clean them and spray a little mist on it to sanitize it, $1,650. Clean and sanitize all press room chairs, $650. That's the little chairs they got in the press room, right? Spray it. Removal of debris from all floors, $750. Dusting, wet and dry of ceilings and walls, 550. Clean of window shades, 1,200. All right. Okay, there's a lot of line items here. And so you can see this is the same contract now. All right. All these stuff they doing here. All right. All these stuff they doing. And this is Goodman's Bay. Second floor, East Wing, Goodman's Bay. Clean and sanitize offices, cubicles and furniture, 4,500. So all these kind of stuff they have here, all right? I'll keep going. So this one contract was for $4,000, almost $50,000, all right? And so you want to keep contracts under 50,000. Why? So you don't have to go through cabinet. But you do a bunch of contracts under 50,000. I can't say that's what they're doing, but that's what happens, right? And so that's what's happening there.
So that when they're under 50,000, you don't have to count.
That's what they do. I mean, they was just breaking the law anyway. This is another contract. This is a separate one for 25,000. All right. So there's another contract right here. All right. There's a reason I doing it cut up like this. As you can see, you see how thick this is? I mean, we got plenty of papers and plenty of contracts. All right. Now, this contract went to, all right, this was represented by, this contract was between the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Eugene Poitier, and offices located at West Bay Street, Nassau Ministry, and the Zenith HR Solutions Limited. Zenith Human Resources Solutions Limited. All right. Good question. All right. Zenith Human Resources. That's a human resources company. You know what human resources is? That means they deal with workers, hiring workers, firing workers, paying. So they deal with that kind of stuff.
Think of it as a human resource department.
They don't do
Why are they
maintenance, construction, cleaning, etc. Because I don't think a human resources company should have a license to do this.
That's a whole different area.
Right. All right. And it says works for post-construction cleanup. And so everything is right there. Right? Now, Fred, the question is now, Zenith HR Solutions Limited. Let's see who they are. You want to see who they are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who are the principal?
Yeah. I want to see who they are. All right. Add some more documents here to show, but I'll skip to who they are. All right. And so Zenith, Zenith. Let's pull up something here. Zenith. Let's look and see who Zenith is. Let me open that up. All right. So I just opened the PDF. Let me come and share this now.
It's a public contract. The public should know who they are, right?
Well, they can know. They can know now.
They should know to whom this public contract went.
Yeah. And so, all right. Let's open that window. Let's see. Zenith. All right. So, nice company. Let's see who they are. Zenith HR Solutions. They were incorporated in 2000, registered in 2019. It's a regular company, Bahamian, limited liability shares, and its registered initial subscribers are Christina Marie Duncombe and D'Angelo Carlos Duncombe. D'Angelo Carlos Duncombe is who's really running this company. D'Angelo Carlos Duncombe. Now, we received information that D'Angelo Carlos Duncombe and this Zenith company is getting a lot of the contracts. I don't have a problem with any Bahamian making money. I just have to look at the connections because you must avoid corruption and avoid the parents of corruption. And we receive information, and the permanent secretary could tell us if this was so. That the permanent secretary at the time that the same company was doing renovations to his home, and so that could appear, if that's so, like a quid pro quo. And so we need to know what's going on with these kinds of stuff, especially if a lot of the contracts is going to, the same people. All right. And so you could come to your own conclusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up something else so we can get another idea of what's going on. I teaching you all how to investigate today. All right. Since Fred Mitchell wants us to do that, I'm going to teach you all how to do that today. All right. So we pull up another document because we found who these people are. And again, if they're regular Bahamian people, so be it. Good to go. But here, all right. So this is Zenith, the company. All right. And so this is their company. Let me go to the home page. This is HR done right. Look at that. Providing professional human resources consultancy. It's a human resources company.
HR done right.
Yeah.
Might there be any connection to Zenith?
With Zenith. With Zenith.
HR.
Oh. So I just want everyone to see that this is an HR company that got this contract. Now I think if it's the government, you should deal with a company that's licensed to do a specific thing. So if a company is licensed to do construction, then you can give them a construction contract.
Yes.
But if a company is licensed to be a restaurant, how are you going to give them a construction contract?
You shouldn't. Because your company, when licensed, is coded.
Yes.
It's coded.
Yes.
And so you do the work for which your company is coded.
Yes.
And nothing outside of that.
And so D'Angelo Duncombe, it says, is the president. It says is an elite HR professional. So it says it all here. And then this other person, Dominique Goodman, it says also knowledgeable in human resources. But that was contracts for other stuff that is not human resources.
Right.
And so how is that? And so the permanent secretary at the time was Mr. Eugene Poitier. And so we just need him to answer. Just explain this for us, please. We, the public, we need to know. All right? No one is attacking you, no one is accusing you, but we need to know how this was possible. All right? We need to know. We got more to talk about in a minute. And so how does this kind of stuff work? We have here, and so you saw where that contract was for Zenith, right?
Right.
And so, but here in my hand, I have, man, there's so much stuff to talk about today. We gotta do this in parts. Fred Mitchell said he wasn't finished with me. Let me tell you something, Fred Mitchell. We only scratching the surface. We ain't scratched the surface yet. Because Bahamian people, if an investigation is done on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I believe, based on a couple of little things that I've been hearing and seeing, that's going to be serious. All right? So send your Tantan Makut. Send your trolls to start talking bad about me. You want to talk about my personal business and that kind of stuff. Go ahead. But in the meantime, get our public affairs right, all right? Let's deal with the national issues. What you doing with this money? We're getting to that in a second. Y'all stay tuned. And so here's an estimate that was provided by Innovative Developments. All right? Innovative Developments is actually the same person, the Duncan person. So it's Zenith, a company, and then there's also Innovative Development. That's a company. Let me put that on the screen so people to see. We like show documents. All right? Let's see if we have that here lined up for you. Let's see if we got that. Contract. Hold on one sec. Let's pull that up. Combs. Okay, here it is. All right, I just want you all to see it. We got documents in our hands. And Maria Doxson was supposed to be here, but with all that weather, she couldn't be here. All right, so let me share the screen for you to see. We need change, man. Sick of this, what's going on in this country. Sick of it. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is Innovative Developments. We checked, there's no company license under Innovative Developments.
Interesting.
All right, we did a company search, and there's no company license under Innovative Developments. All right, and so we need to know. So it could be a trading hours, but if that isn't officially a trading hours, you still shouldn't do that. All right. So Innovative Developments, Coral Harbor Road. These are the exact same people. Uh, the exact same people. All right. And here's an estimate. Here's an estimate for $25,000. All right. West Wing, East Wing. So this is the estimate for the contract that I showed you, I guess, a minute ago. But this is the estimate, right? For Innovative Developments. Why is an estimate coming from Innovative Developments when the company is actually Zenith?
CNFHR.
So Zenith has a business license. So I guess they're using their human resources business license, just guessing, to get the contract for something that has nothing to do with HR. And now with this estimate, they put in Innovative Developments. But
A company that doesn't even exist.
right, unless it's some kind of trading as. But then the if Zenith is trading as this, then it should say that.
It should.
All right. So Innovative Developments, they are showing, recap of stuff that they do. And so we didn't find. So if it is, then please show us. But it appears that both of these companies, Zenith and this company, is making bids. So if that is happening, it could appear that you're getting two companies bidding. So it could look like you're fulfilling, where you're getting two companies, but it's the same company. So if that's happening, Bahamas, that's wrong.
And how is a company that does not exist get awarded for something like this.
or is trading ads and doesn't have a business license for that specific
But
thing.
but if it's trading ads, if you do a trading ads are usually for situations where it is not a company, but it would then wouldn't it not attach the individual's name?
Yeah. So these are estimates that we're looking at, innovative developments. These are the estimates that they got, and they got all the closing remarks and everything, innovative and developed management, and so we need to know what's going on. So from the first set of documents and these documents, um, we need to know what's going on. All right.
Which
Now, if those persons are getting a lot of contracts, we just need to know that. And how are they connected to you? And we need to know, did they, we don't know, did they do renovations for your house while they was getting contracts? So just come and say, no, that ain't true. And then, all right, that's clear. All right, the allegations will be gone. And we finish with that. All right, but these are the kinds of things that we are seeing. And on top of that, we are seeing Fred and them was sending pictures. So, for example, but before I get to that, there's a consulate in Miami, right? There's a consulate in Miami. I spoke to several staff members who was like, what's happening here? The person who's the consul general was removed. All right, he's a straight shooter down the line, straight shooter. Pintard had made a statement about him saying, "Hey, we see they treating you rough down there." All right, and all of a sudden, it was all kind of kicking up because no one wants to touch the Ministry of Finance. Fred is like a mafia boss, and so Pintard didn't touch that. Now, um, they removed him. They say because of a fender bender, right? A little scrape on the government car, right? But they say, oh, it's unbecoming. And so they removed him and replaced him with someone who was from Haiti. Not from Haiti, but who was working in Haiti. All right. And they put him there to do their bidding. Now, this person is only acting. All right. And we believe that there was accusations made against that person, and now they're putting him there. Now, we could talk more about that in the future because we've been going long. All right. But all of these kinds of things are happening. And these same kinds of people, we see these characters. We have a whole list of names. I was going to list off all these names today, but I didn't go on 2 hours out of time. And so we could do that next time. But there's another young man. We saw all these stuff there with school fees and all this kind of stuff. And the young man was wondering if I call his name. Yeah, I call your name so Fred Mitchell could explain it. Since Fred Mitchell worried about me and my personal life. Fred Mitchell, please explain to us who is Justin Smith. Someone type it so we can ask who is Justin Smith. Um, nice behaving young man. Nice behaving young fella. Justin Smith. But Justin Smith is a PLP supporter that they was grooming, from he was young. And he has perks. He used to be under Angleston and the Glennis, but Fred grabbed him up. And they're saying that he is now off to school. All right. He's working. They took him since they came in government. Let me show you this. Let me put up the pictures while I'm talking. All right. So, yes, Justin, I call your name. All right. I won't call your name in a personal capacity, but for funds and our money and where it's going, I got a problem with that. All right. This is the guy behind Fred with a smile is Justin Smith, right? And he was taken, sent to London, and he's being paid a hefty salary, something $65,000, $65,000, something like that. All right, Fred could tell us exactly what it is. All right, he is getting housing of that's somewhere between 4,500, 5,500 a month, somewhere around there. All right, so he's getting housing and school fees being paid. All right, he's in law school, law, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Why are we paying his school fee? Why? If Fred was paying his school fee, that ain't my business. That's your personal business. I don't care. Why are you all finding a way for the ministry to pay for the school fee of this young man? That's what's alleged. All right. And so people at the ministry have already, confirmed that. But Fred could confirm it. All right. So why we paying for this young man's school fee? So the young man says, and this is in his words, he made a post when he got this position, this big position. Let me see if I have the post here already. He put up a post saying that he accepted the job. The government gave him a job as the second secretary to the High Commissioner in London, the Bahamian High Commissioner in London. His job is he is the second secretary to the High Commissioner in London. All right, so keep that in mind. You are the second secretary to the High Commissioner in London. Okay, that's no problem. That's your job. You are the second secretary to the High Commissioner in London. Okay, if you're the second secretary to the High Commissioner in London, why are you traveling all over the place with Fred? Why are you working with
Why
the
you're not
High
stationary
Commissioner?
in London?
All right. Why are you not with the High Commissioner doing his work? Why are you traveling all over the world with Fred? And how you skip over the first secretary to go on the trip? All right. How the second secretary skip on the so let's say you all just want to go on trips. How you skip the first secretary? You're the second secretary. And so Fred is bragging. He's sending all kind of pictures with him and this young man all over the world. Now, if you go on the young man pages, you don't see him bragging with being with Fred. But Fred is posting him and this young man all over the world. The second secretary. And so let's just look at some of the trips. Let's just look at some of them. All right. Um, so Fred decided he wanted to go to, let's say, where do we start? China. All right. So this is, I gotta bear with me as I pull this stuff up. All right, let me pull it up differently. So yeah, let me replace that. Replace. So Fred decides he's going to China. I need the second secretary to come with me on to the secretary. I need the second secretary to come with me on this trip. And so Fred uh, is in China. So here he goes to China. Post. You know what? I'm gonna just show you pictures. I'm gonna just show you this live. All right. I think that's what I should do. Let me just show you this live. Let's see if we have that up and ready to go. Okay, let me see if I can get that for you. Give me one sec. Okay. All right, let me just share my screen and then just go on a little tour. All right, let's just go on a little tour. And that's how easy they make it to see what's going on. All right, now Fred, he's gonna keep talking with me. Oh, Fred, we got we could have a live every week just on you for the rest until election, based on what your people at that ministry are saying. All right, so let's just take a tour. Okay, this is Fred Mitchell, minute by minute, not Justin. The fella to the left is Justin. So Fred is here on a travel. He says he's with this. Justin Smith, the second secretary at the Bahamas High Commission. All right, and he's doing a tour, and so he's with Justin right there, and so Fred is talking about that. So now, and that was 2023, and it's 2023 again. We have all these pictures saved, and he is here in where is this? Yeah, this is in London. He had a little stop over there, and again, he's in the picture with the young man right there again. Okay, no problem. That ain't no big deal. The fellow worked there. Oh, he's decided to go out to the book signing, to Hubert Ingram's book signing. Oh, he take the young man with him. All right, that's at the Balmoral, and so this in April 2022. See, the fella wanted to go to Ingram's book signing. He take a picture with Ingram. Fred right there standing behind him. All right, okay, let's keep going. All right, let's skip that. This is actually how long Fred know the young man. This is from December 18th, 2019. This is at the forest. Remember the fellow who made those statements that we made a complaint about threats with? Kendall, this is at that restaurant there. See Brave there, but Fred sitting in the back with the young man right there. See the young man in the back? All right, so this is from before they even take government. The young man was everywhere with him. All right, and people are friends, so that's fine. So here's China. See here, Fred right there, young man right there, all the way in China. This is 2022. All right, all the way in China, all kind of trips. This is another trip. The Food and Agriculture Organization. Um, this the Latin American situation what they had going on. You see Fred standing there, the young man standing right next to him. All right, but you in school because we paying for your schooling. How you getting time to travel all these places? All right, and you're supposed to be working for the High Commissioner. All right, but you all over the world with Fred. All right. Here's another picture. I don't know where this is, but here again, everywhere Fred goes, etc. Those other people have nothing to do with this, so don't mix them up in this. Um, okay, not that one. That's a different one. Uh, but all over the world, here they're having another. Where is this? Yeah, this is some other Latin American thing, and here is Fred and the young man right next to him. All right. And so this October 14th, school open.
I'm curious. I was trying to find what responsibilities second secretary.
I don't know. Fred will tell us. He's going, he's going to do a voice note tonight. In the middle of cussing me, we just need him to explain why the government is paying for this young man's school fee, um, housing, et cetera, that people are saying, and it might not be the case. But Fred just explained.
So
Why are we paying all this for this young man? And there's other young men where it's a similar situation. But why are we doing that?
that
Hold on, before we go, let's keep looking. All right, let's keep looking. Let's go back. All right, and so Fred, yeah, this is 2021. Say with the daytime, Senator Fred Mitchell. This is April 2021. This before the election. All right, they canvass in. Say this Senator Fred Mitchell with the daytime. What? Listen, is that a Freudian slip? You see the words? I don't know if I could repeat that on this Christian show. but I got to read what it says. Can Asing team. That's literally what Fred wrote. With the daytime, can I ain't say no more.
Yeah.
Blanking team in Fox Hill at the East Coast
Maybe that
restaurant.
was a slip of the finger, right? Maybe that was it. But
And
let's,
again, Fred Mitchell and the young man right next to him. Everywhere Fred goes. Now, this young man was a part of Glenasana Martin team in Angleston when he was young. But Fred grabbed him and never let him go. And so you skip through. I just did a search, This is just a search on Facebook, and I just put in their name, and this is what comes up. Here again, Senator, what is this? Something else going on. Young man, right, everywhere he goes. Okay, there's somewhere else they traveling. Where is this? Alberta. Oh, this Elaine and them, they was on a trip. And so Fred welcomed them. And here the young man is speaking again. Everything Fred does. All right. And so uh, World Trade Organization. It was somewhere else in the world, and I had a meeting with someone from the World Trade Organization. Here's Fred, and here's the young man. See the young man sitting right there. All right, look at the pictures. All right, let's skip over that. That's Kingsley Wedding. Um, you know, and so even at Rome, Fred was shaking hands with the I guess the Pope and them or whoever those persons were at Rome. And so I have all the pictures there, but I'll leave this there for now. And so my thing is, why are you all over the world? We paying for your education, all right? We paying for you to work for the commissioner. We paying all this. Why are you up and down with Fred? Now I'm making no accusations about Red because he asked for a little mercy. I give him that much mercy. I'm not gonna say his lifestyle or whatever. I don't care. I care about the public purse. Explain to me why is Fred making sure that your school fee paid, but at the same time you're working. You're supposed to be working for us, but you flying up and down with Fred.
I have a couple of questions also. I recall recently the Prime Minister making a statement to the effect that government workers need to perform their duties, perform it
Yes,
well.
you are a smart
Otherwise,
man.
he would be ready to fire them. And basically saying that he's not joking. I'm looking at the documents you present, and
Oh, and we got plenty more.
I pulled up this thing that gives a general idea of what someone as the second secretary in that position should be
Perfect.
doing.
Perfect.
It says that this
Hold on, let me make sure I get you on the camera. Let me make sure we don't have you on the camera. Let me get you on there. Hold on. Yes, go ahead. What the second secretary supposed to be doing?
so this is a general idea of what the second secretary of a high commission should be doing. Might not be very specific, but generally gives an idea. It says that this person should monitor political, economic, social developments in the host country
Hmm.
and prepare reports for the Bahamas Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So my question is, if this individual is supposed to do this in the host country, but is traveling all the time everywhere, how and when will he find the time to monitor political, economic, and social developments in where?
England, the UK.
When it seems like he's hardly there. Now, again, it
So
seems
maybe China is a part of the UK. Maybe Latin America is a part of the UK. Maybe Canada and Rome is part of the UK.
If the maps were changed and if they were relabeled, maybe. But I don't recall that happening. I do recall that happening in one instance.
At some point in history, maybe Rome was a part of the UK, man.
But we're here in this time, though. We're here in this time. And my map doesn't show
at some
that.
point in time, maybe China was a part of the UK, maybe? China? No?
I'm in 2025. And I don't recall a map, not even historically. I don't recall a map, certainly today.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to me, by this general idea, that the young man isn't on the job.
That's the conclusion you come to.
That seems like the only logical conclusion.
Wow.
So if he's not on the job and yet he's being paid somewhere in the area of what, 45, 50,000?
No, between 55 and 65,000. Fred will tell us tonight. I trust me. He will.
And 65,000.
Fred is a good, decent, honest man. He's going to tell us tonight.
It appears that he's not on the job.
Yeah.
I as a teacher, I had to be on the job, and when I wasn't on the job, I had to report as to why, or I had to get a sick slip, or I at least had to call in and say, hey, look, this is my situation. But on day 2, if I'm still out, I better return with a sick slip. Or the other things necessary to keep me in line would kick in.
Yeah. Someone asked a question on the live, and that's a good question. So a young man can't work with someone? Yes, you can. But explain what you're doing to us. If I hire you as a manager, and all of a sudden you hire a young man, and I can't ask, you need to explain that to me. What this person doing? Why is that a problem for the owners, the Bahamian people, to ask the manager what's going on with the company?
And here's another question.
Why do you need 10 young men? And so, for example, if we see what other people are complaining about, staff, a lot of people have started to leave or they're disgruntled at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Why are you hiring so many young men that people are suspecting are homosexual? You're not disqualified from any job if you're homosexual. But if it seems like the minister who has been for years, according to Dr. Miles Monroe, has been pushing a homosexual agenda, if all of a sudden you're in charge of a ministry and you are hiring, everyone can see, you hiring all these fellas that seem to be of that orientation, then you're telling the people that don't believe their lying eyes. And so that means that you are pushing an agenda that's discriminating against other Bahamians. Because a young lady should be qualified to travel with Fred. A heterosexual young man should be qualified to have that job. If you have that job, because you are homosexual, I'm not saying a young man homosexual, I don't know. All right? But let Fred answer that. If you have that job because of your sexual orientation, that's discrimination against the rest of us who straight. With our money. This is our money. This ain't Fred personal business. He's never run a business. All right? We don't think he's capable of doing that. This ain't his personal business. We ain't care about your private life, you know. We don't care who you've been living with in your apartment. We even had his neighbors call us. But see, I ain't getting into his personal business. And if he want me to, I can. But we're not getting into that. We are concerned with what you're doing with the public purse. Fred, you talking about 64,000? Why are you paying a young man, 25-year-old man, 25-year-old young man, $65,000? We don't have a problem with Bahamian young man making $65,000. Don't twist that. But it can't be for some advantage. And we have a right to discuss this and talk about this because clearly you flooded the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with people of that persuasion, and that is wrong. That is wrong. You have no right to take advantage of this country. And what people in those ministries feel, my brother, is that Fred is a part of an international conspiracy. That's why he likes to be in that ministry. A part of an international conspiracy with an agenda. And he is pushing that on this nation.
I want to say something to that if I might, and then I'll ask my you rightly pointed out that our concern, and rightly so, is what's going on with the public purse. But anyone, any Bahamian who's paying attention can see that there is in this country, as is across the globe, the world, an agenda to push that lifestyle. And I want to say, I want to say this. Look, whenever heterosexuals, straight men or straight women speak up against that, all of a sudden we are discriminatory, we are harassing, we are hating on. But it's interesting how that when the script is flipped, oh, they're just standing up for their rights, as if straight people don't have rights. Let me take a moment and remind people of the preamble to our Constitution, right? I could paraphrase it, right? But listen, I just want to read the second paragraph. Second paragraph, right? And here's what it says. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Listen to me. The framers of this Constitution, those who put this together, intended that this country lives by Christian values. We get you got freedom of choice. We get that individually you have freedom of choice. But if you come to the seat of parliament, you have an obligation to maintain Christian values. We stand on that. I stand on that. Mr. Bain and the coalition stands on that. And we will not allow that agenda to proceed. Listen, people talk about rights. Christians have rights too. Believers have rights too. People who are not Christians and do not subscribe to that lifestyle, they have rights too. We make it seem like only certain people have human rights. We're not human. We're not people. We are going to stand on godly principles. What people do in their private lives, that's their choice. But when you begin to push that on a nation and openly, you will receive opposition. We will stand on godly principles.
So someone asked a question. Someone asked a question. Are you upset with him as a person or his work as a minister? I don't take things personal. Fred Mitchell has been, he set the standard for MPs. I think Vincent Pete was the first one setting the standard. He was the one who started giving out those Mother's Day pictures and little rules on Mother's Day and doing little stuff and always being present. Fred Mitchell came and took that to another level. He's always there when you're having a wedding or funeral, et cetera, et cetera. So in terms of on the ground, I could give him credit for that kind of stuff. All right. Personally, I have no issue with Fred other than he is very dismissive of people, talks down to people, and is very insulting of Bahamian people who he disagrees with. Um, uh, and that's because he's doing that as a diplomat of this country who's supposed to be representing this nation on a higher level. He can't separate his position as a diplomat from his position as the chairman of the party. He has no Brave Davis can't send out a voice note cursing people out. And then I say, but that was just something I was sent out as a leader of the party. But as a leader of the country, I'm going to be diplomatic. You cannot separate yourself. And so I am only dealing with him, and I only deal with people on their public affairs. I don't deal with, I get files on every politician in this country. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care about your personal business deals or failures or successes, etc. That is my business. All right? I don't care. I don't care what church you go to, your religion, that ain't my business. I care about your public affairs and how you deal with the public's money. And all of us should. They try to get you caught up on these little nasty back and forths so that you don't talk about the public affairs. He wants to get me caught up in talking a nasty back and forth, but I only care about the public affairs. And this only step one. So after Fred Mitchell responds tonight on his thing, we can release the dragon further. All right? Now, personally, I have no problem with the gentleman. But I have a problem when you are discriminating or appear to be discriminating against heterosexual young men or against women in this country. I have a problem with that. And people at his ministry have a problem with that. Everyone can see it. We can't just sit down and accept that. Someone asked me, but are these people qualified? Yes, I have no problem whether they're qualified, etc. That's not the issue here. The issue is if you have a straight young man and a homosexual young man apply for the same job, and it always seems like the homosexual one gets it, and the member of parliament is homosexual. Come on. Come on. If a member of parliament is running a ministry and only his church people getting jobs, the people from his church, isn't that a problem? It ain't whether they qualified or not. No. It has to be fair. We must avoid corruption and the appearance of corruption. That's what the law says. That's the law. So don't tell me Fred, who has his preferences, is mostly hiring these people, and it ain't just this one young man. That's just today. We got more to talk about if Fred won't go in that direction. All right? We got a lot more to talk about. Fred, ain't nothing you could say but me that y'all ain't done say. Nothing. But I know one thing. I've been fighting y'all corruption for all these years. And every business that y'all politicians have attacked and mashed down, God builds me back up. Every lie that y'all spread on me, it goes off like water off a duck's back. All I want you do is worry about what belongs to the Bahamian people. Simple as that. Fred, I'm going to play this for people who are listening to this. This isn't an attack on Fred, This us asking them to account for our money. They still have not repaid or reported to us that they have repaid the $100,000 that the government stole to go on a trip to Bermuda. On their personal trip. This was not a government official business. This was a personal PLP trip to go support an event that was happening over there. This is their personal trip, and they had us, the taxpayers, pay for that. They sent one check for a smaller amount. I think it was $12,000 and said they could pay the rest later. They never come back to us and say they paid. Fred, pay the people. Put our money back. That's what you all need to do. Stop paying millions of dollars in rent for your people. You see the numbers. Millions of dollars going to pay. I have a whole list of names. And every week I'll tell a different story if Fred wants me to. A whole list. $811,000 paying school fee? For who? 811,000? Fred, stop playing with our money here.
Schools can't open on time.
I go open the phone. Yeah, schools can't open on time. I go open.
No money.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. I need y'all to hear this. Mm, I-
While you're looking into getting that, the question that I had was, since there is a second secretary for the High Commissioner, what is the job of the first?
mm.
Because it seems like the first might be functioning because the first isn't traveling, are they?
Fred can explain that tonight when he wake up thinking with me.
And it seems if the information provided is indeed what it is, there really isn't a need for a second, given the responsibilities that should happen, that should take place. If you hire me for a job and I'm never there, you don't need me for that job, do you?
No. Well, the young man is going to be finished college in March. All right, he's going to be finished in March. So we would have paid. Well,
So he's being having school fees paid while being paid 65,000.
yeah, somewhere around
Somewhere
55 to
around
65. So Fred will tell us the exact number, but tens of thousands of dollars. All right, because of his association to the PLP and the Fred Mitchell.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
How does that connect? If it does, with the passport, the visa monies. I mean, I'm just curious.
Let me play this one here, and then I go open the phone lines. This is the man we are paying to be a diplomat. If Brave Davis, any diplomat who sends out a voice note like this should have to step down immediately. Anywhere in the world, it would never be allowed, except in the Commonwealth of Narnia. Well, Bikini Bottom.
Mr. Philip Davis at the United Nations at 9 a.m. On Wednesday, the 24th September 2025, the press started calling me about some allegations made by Lincoln Bain of COI, also known as the Coalition of Idiots. It appears that he has set up a stage in front of a police station in Nassau to defend his live-in girlfriend. He made a number of nasty statements about me, nothing to do with public policy, but as usual, filled with non sequiturs, irrelevancies, and defamatory statements. We who operate in the mainstream of public life and have a rational responsibility to govern continue to be confounded at how a crook and an idiot, a jackass, an obvious flim-flam man with dust for brains
That's
and
the
a daily
brains.
dose of stupidity for breakfast continues to attract political attention with his steady diet of nonsense and
He's
rubbish.
wondering how we keep
While
attracting
redemption is
attention. He
possible
doesn't
in the
get it.
Christian faith, Paul Adley, if he were alive, would have described this chief of the coalition of idiots as a rascal, a serial prevaricator, an infidel, and corrupt to the core. Right now, this rascal wants to be prime minister, but cannot and will not pay the $64,000 that the court has ordered him to repay a woman whom he swindled the money from. Some people have said to me, well, why don't you sue him? But sue him to what end? He doesn't have two coppers to rub together. He's broke and would just love a lawsuit so that he can pursue other lies and irrelevancies. In the end, we must rely on the goodwill of the Bahamian people to reject this nonsense, this piece of dog doo-doo, this
Dog
national
doo-doo.
scum calling himself Lincoln
Scum.
Bain. The man who started his career interrupting naked people on the beach and sticking a camera in their faces at night, then claimed to be ordained as a preacher and born again. But he's nothing but a low-down, dirty political dog who needs to find Christ and repent. I'm not finished yet with this fellow. PLPs and people of goodwill slammed the door in this stupid man's face.
Oh, violence. He slammed the
Jackass.
door in my face.
Now I turn to another political infidel.
He's not finished with me.
You know what's
He said I didn't talk about public policy, but all I did was talk about public policy on that live, and all I did was talk about public policy on this live. And everything we said here is asking questions, and we want answers about what's going on because we don't understand. We don't understand why certain things. And again, this is only a drop in the bucket. Because if I start calling names, anyway, I'll wait until after the live is message tonight, and we'll continue.
You know what's so sad about that voice note, Mr. Bean?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it is not becoming of a man in that position.
Mm-hmm.
When you hold high office, you are expected to maintain a certain standard.
Mm.
If you can't maintain the standard, then step aside. It is shameful that one in such a high standing would stoop to such a level as to use the type of words, of adjectives, to describe a political opponent, one who shouldn't matter. And you wonder why he continues to gain traction. It's because he addresses policy. It's because he shows evidence, while others simply name call and defame. You call him or us, call him the chief of the idiots. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would think that you would want to be careful with your words toward the Bahamian public, seeing that we are the ones that you are coming to for your votes. You don't know if.
No, we are paying
Before we
for
even get
trips
there,
for him and his boyfriends.
but before we even go there, right? See, because you essentially call the Bahamian people idiots. The last polling showed that the independents were up by 50%. So you're telling us that 50% of the people, for now, are idiots. This is how you speak to the Bahamian public, the arrogance. Maybe you have idiots in your constituency who are ready to vote you out. You didn't think about that. You didn't think that maybe you have some quote unquote idiots whose vote you would need for re election. But you're calling the Bahamian people idiots, stupid, and more. The arrogance. I'll tell you this. There's a scripture. Nebuchadnezzar, who thought he was so great, in Daniel 4:7, that no one could touch him, and God had to take his mind from him for about a period of 7 years and send him out to live like a wild animal. When God finally gave him his senses, paraphrasing, he said, look, anyone who is arrogant and prideful, God is able to humble them. Watch God, Fred Mitchell.
Now, we haven't, I'm going to open the phone lines, but we haven't even got to talk about how they are bringing in persons when they come to stay in the Bahamas. Instead of putting them in a hotel, they're putting them on private properties. All right. And now the question is, who owns these private properties that they putting the people on? All right. When they could put them in a decent hotel and pay probably less, they are putting them on private properties owned by certain individuals. So when someone comes to visit, some diplomat or anybody, that's what they are saying, alleging that they are doing. All right. We had a contract going out. People from Foreign Affairs texting me while I talking. All right, Fred, this is your people. This is your hard PLP people. Contract for $48,000 was the estimate. Walker Industries ended up getting it. Walker Industries, and it was 175,000.
Wow.
How you get from?
Big jump.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
than double.
Yeah. All right. How you get there? More than 3 times.
Yes.
All right. How you get there? All right. Um. Oh, this apartment. Oh Lord, they sending me all the names. All the names.
Tired.
I won't call these names today. I can wait for Fred and his response. His response could be pay the woman, pay the woman. That's what his response could be. Uh, uh, Fred, we know you anyway. Let's keep this above board. We concerned with our public business, eh? Our public business. not about anyone's personal lives. I could care less who Fred Mitchell sleeps with, but I just don't want to pay for it. And I don't want you to pay for it. Fred, pay for that yourself. Simple as that. 803-5995 is the phone number, so I'll be going long today. But we had to get some of this out. And listen, this isn't even 1% of 1% of the information we have. Okay, the phone ringing already. 803-5995. Gotta take the phone off silent. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bain. How you doing?
I am awesome. How you doing?
I'm all right. Okay, I heard you was trying to get in contact with me. This is the mom Bright who was doing the live streaming for the funeral service on Saturday.
No, man, I live. So I think you're talking about something personal. I'm live on social media.
Okay, but I talk about for links to one's funeral.
Yeah, I'm live. If you're talking about something personal, that's different. All right. All right, you call me after I come off my live, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Link Jones' funeral is on Saturday at 11 o'clock at the Anglican Church in 8 Mile Rock. It's called Stevenson, or St. Stephen's. And so, if you are a supporter, you can be there. And we're going to put links, lay links to rest. Call you live. Go ahead. Good night, my brother. We can't hear you clearly, so if you want speaker, put it on regular or something. I can hear you, but it's like kind of distorted.
Okay, 1 second. One quick second. Okay, you can hear me now?
Okay, let's try. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm saying my condolences. I condolences to
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Okay, I think your connection is bad. So you can call us back. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995 is the number. (803-5995). Okay, here we go. Go ahead, call you live. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Bain. How are you?
I'm awesome. How you doing?
I am dumbfounded right now. It's like this thing is happening from so many different angles, right?
Yes.
Obviously, there's several conflicts there, and there's overspending. There is using our monies, our tax dollars, to that degree, and not doing their jobs, which is basically, building the stuff that the people need, like a proper hospital. And even just to the airport, complete that. All of this is because of this government. I don't know what's wrong with this man in his head and this agenda thing. We ain't gonna let this slide to this. But this is, I'm not shocked at nothing, but this is what I need to know. Is there any way we can press charges against him or file something against him or
at this point, well, we're gonna write a letter with other stuff that we didn't even reveal here because we don't want them to know everything we have. All right. We're gonna write a letter to the commissioner. Now, again, we don't even want to give everything to them because they work for these same politicians, so we don't trust them. So what we need to do is we need to get into office and then we'll deal with them.
Yeah, but this is what the people need to know. We stop this type of corruption. Because that's what it is. We might as well call it what it is. From every angle. What do we do? And how would the CORI make a difference to clear this crap up? Because this is too much.
Yeah.
I had to turn the TV off. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's overspending it's even past greed. Like hoarder greed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to inform the young people the voters who are actually want to change in the Bahamas, what we going to do and how are we going to fix that? Because that can't continue like that, because that's going in a downtrend financially and economically. We're not growing as a country with this old way they operating, traveling all over the frigging world. And this is it?
Yeah, steak and caviar.
Attacking us and insulting us?
All right. Thanks for your call.
All right.
All right. Call you live. Go ahead.
Yeah, good day, sir.
Good day.
I'm trying to find out, could we ever put this, if you all win, if actually you're going to win, so if you going to prosecute these people and what abusing the country,
Yes.
and I really want you to do that, sir, because enough is enough. They're just abusing this country and there's no accountability.
Yes. Yeah, we got to fix this country, my brother.
Yeah, well, sir, I'm willing to give you my donation because you really need it, and I'm all the way with you guys.
Thank you, man.
However, we need to get on the road and start campaigning for you. Whatever we need to do, let's get this money, because the PLP and FNM have that money. They have the people and what backing them, and you're not as strong as them.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to help you whatever which way. So
thank you, man.
Open up and let me know what I need to do.
You can go right online and you can make a donation there. Or you can go in there and see our bank account information and you can transfer if you want to. All right?
So I'm willing to do that.
Thank you, man. God bless you.
Yes.
All right. Call you live.
Hi, good evening. I'll be very short.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to the people of Nassau Village, you have no excuse now to not get rid of the entire Orange Party. You have Steve Queen.
Yes.
Great job, John.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve McQueen is a qualified educator who loves this country. Very qualified, more qualified than Fred Mitchell, actually. These are real Bahamians who want to make a change. All right, 803-5995 is the number, 803-5995. We want to hear from you. What do you think about the budget for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs jumping from, would we believe, estimate to be around 14 million something to 50 million? All right? And what do you think about paying for 811,000 for school fees that seems to only be going to a certain way? All right, what do you think about that? Paying for housing. They got several fellas with 5-bedroom houses that they living in. Only them. And this ain't only happening in England, it's happening all over. Call you live, go ahead.
Good night. We just got disconnected. But
Yes.
I'd like to express my condolences to the Miller family.
Yes.
And his wife and his children. But I look at the death. I look at the death date of Obi Wilcombe. His death date was September 25th, 2023.
Yes.
And Vaughn Miller was today on the 28th. Do you something ironic about
yes,
that?
or the 27th, because it started around after 11, so we don't know.
Wow, that's ironic.
2 years.
It's ironic.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
Thank you, man. Call you live. Go ahead, caller. Okay, we lost that one. 803-5995, 803-5995. All right, so it's the public issues. So all of these assumptions by us and questions by us, and we want you to answer them. We want to know what's going on. This is the public issue. And again, we haven't even scratched the surface. There's so much more things than Jesus. Listen, the people at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are on fire. They're still giving information. I can't give out any more information today. I don't have time. Call you live. Go ahead. Go ahead, call you live.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Lincoln Ben.
Yes.
I am very disappointed. I didn't know that Justin was such a person of that character, but I've known him for many of years. I've known his family. We were neighbors many years ago.
Oh, I'm not
And I
speaking his
trust,
character at all. I don't know his character.
well,
I know he's a smart, intelligent young man. I don't know his character.
okay,
But
that's the same thing that I know, but
yeah.
I am very disappointed in what I heard tonight, and I hope we could get to some kind of resolution where, I hope things could change and get better. Bahamas belongs to all of us, and we need to treat it they need to treat us with more dignity, more respect, and more love. And as far as the government money is concerned, the money is not the government, it's the people's
Yes,
fund.
it is. They're
So
just managers
it
for
should be
us.
it should be spent in a better manner. Not is that money that should be fronted with, fronted around. But I trust God that something different and changes will come. Okay?
Thank you.
So let us pull together and hope for the best, and let us put dirty water under the sea and trust God for the best. And
Amen.
move forward. God
Amen.
bless.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a reasonable, respectful person. 803-5995 is the number. Okay. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good night, Mr. Bean.
Good night.
I would like to say that you're doing an awesome job informing the Bahamian public on what's really going on in this country, letting people know the misuse of funds that these governments are doing, and they don't want to be held accountable and trying to keep the truth away from us, the Bahamian people.
Yeah.
Therefore, that is why we are fighting for implementing the Freedom of Information Act, holding these ministries and these members of parliament accountable for their works and what they're doing. And hearing all of this information now within this Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what about the other ministries? We are talking about other millions of dollars being added to just this one misuse of public funds.
Wow.
Whereas we have here in the Bahamas, people are hurting. People are suffering, starving. We don't have a decent hospital to host our loved ones and give them proper medical care. And I can go on and on. The list just goes on. It's a crying shame.
It is. It is.
And yet, we have many people out here, they are in denial. They cannot see from yesterday ahead to next week. We must get out of those shackles and chains off of our brains, and let's start kicking in action and vote these administrations out. They are one of the same.
Yes.
One coin with both two sides. Enough is enough.
That's right.
I urge the Bahamian public to register to vote and give the Coalition of Independence a try and a chance to lead this country in betterment.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Good night.
All right. Good night. The QR code is on the screen, and the link, if you watch this on social media, is there, so that you can make donations. So either one of these, you can make a donation. If you're in the United States of America, you can donate here, or the previous one, you can donate with that. All right. So we go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon, caller. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Bain. How you doing, sir?
Good night. I'm awesome, man.
So I want to talk about something else. I don't really want to talk about prime minister because I get time for prime minister. But what I want to understand is now we are now under hurricane watch. But Chester Cooper now is the deputy and basically in charge now since the prime minister is not in the country. On the different keys and stuff was now under hurricane watch. Now who are going to So who are going to now rescue these people who need rescue, and also too, where these people are going to go. We don't have no proper hurricane shelter inside the Bahamas. Where are these people now going to go?
Yeah, for the government to have mandatory evacuations where there's nowhere for you to go, because every island is going to be affected up the whole chain, and they don't have a hurricane shelter. Church is not a hurricane shelter; that's a church. All right, and by now, because we deal with hurricanes so frequently, that should have been a priority for this country. All right, just like having mailboats is a priority, having a flag carrier that we subsidize to make sure we can have air traffic because we're an archipelago is important. We should have hurricane shelters in every single major island in this country. And the fact that we don't have it is because they don't care. They don't care.
Exactly. So I want Bahamians to open up your eyes. I want y'all to see that the sign, or given the sign blatantly lies in your face. So if y'all decide to continue with the PDLP and FNM, then it's what y'all want. That's all I wanted to say, Mr. Bain. Thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you, man. Call you live.
Good evening, Mr. Bain, and good evening, Bahama. Mr. Bain, I'm seeing where the Christmas Council of this country is advocating for some people to have, say, some people have rights to march in this Bahamas. The mercies of God has been keeping this place from all sort of disasters. If these so-called Christmas Council people decide to let those people walk in the streets on these streets of Nassau, Bahamas, they don't want God to take His mercy away from us. Why do those people just go home, go somewhere, and just delete themselves? Because they do not represent this crying shame what's going on. Right? To find themselves in the presence of God. But they don't have no right to soil this nation. This nation already soiled by the PLP and the FNM and the evil empire. We don't need these. Mr. Bain, you have a lot to work. You have a lot to work to do. But the thing about it, God is preparing an army for you. You're not alone. Just hold fast and hold on to that you call him daddy. Hold on to your daddy, and he will supply you with everything that you need to run this country and give the Bahamian people what they're entitled to. And good night to you, sir.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
It's really, we live in a democratic country, and that's what we like to think, and that's what we want, and so the argument is they have rights. Okay, they have legal rights, yes, but the Christian Council also, along with the people of the Bahamas, have legal rights. And so, for the Christian Council to decide, if I understand it correctly, that they will not object, they will
Hold the
not
line, caller. You're
protest,
next.
is really a letdown for people who should represent Christ. Because while people have a right to choose, they never have the right to do wrong. That's why we have laws. And for those of us who say we represent God, when people make a public thing, a public declaration, a public display of their sin, we should be ready to publicly disagree and publicly challenge, because we stand, or should stand, for God above all else.
Thank you. Caller, you live.
Yes, good night, Mr. Bain.
Good night.
Yes. Yes. I just want to find out if King Charles III could get involved in the corruption and stuff that's going on in this country.
No, actually, he can't. He's just a titular head, and if you write to the king, he will respond to you. Not like our government, he will respond, but he's going to let you know that he's just a constitutional monarch, which means he's just a titular head. That's just a figure like Ronald McDonald's. He doesn't really own McDonald's. All right, that's just a figure. So it's similar to that, not the same, but similar. So he's not going to assist. All we need is for the Bahamian people to come together and remove the PLP and FNM once and for all.
Okay, thank you.
All right. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995 is the number. Election is upon us. the government is going to have a choice now. They're going to have to call a by-election, which would make them look like they're stalling because election is right there. You might as well just call a general election one time. So if they call a by-election and go through that whole long 2 months process and campaigning and all that just for a by-election, that doesn't make sense. And so they're gonna have a choice to call a by-election or just call a general election for November. It's simple as that. They were trying to push the election back because they didn't get good response to their little link ups that they were having. You see, they slowed down on them. They wasn't getting good responses out there. It was embarrassing what happened on Windsor Park, and their poll that they did said that 27% of the people were supporting the PLP, 22% supporting the FNM, and 51% are supporting the independent. Never happened before in the history of the country. And so that had them in shock. So they were trying to push the election back. But Vaughn Miller's death has changed the game. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, caller. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Bain. I want to try get out everything I have to say tonight.
Go ahead.
I heard a gentleman say we live in a democratic country. Yes, that's what they say, but that is not what they do. We are. This is a dictator country, and they don't want to get our input. They don't want to hear anything we have to say. They just want to do what they want to do.
And if you say something, they'll call you an idiot.
Yeah, but guess what? Time ain't long as rope.
Yeah.
We are not grandparents. Back then, a lot of people are tired. A lot of people are fed up. They was looking for their money. They were supposed to pay them in September. They disappoint them. Glover Rule and all of them was on talking foolishness. The union people want their money. While y'all billing up paying for y'all pump people in these rented places, paying school fee and paying them a salary. People are suffering in this country. People are sleeping in their cars. Sometimes people don't have nothing to eat. You see them walking the street, and they are only at the mercy of the Bahamian public. If you have and give them a couple dollars or buy them something to eat, the government, you can't go to. They are helping foreigners more than they're helping us. The man couldn't speak a lick of English, and he was picking out furniture for social services to pay for. And there's of them, their cronies and their friends out west in these apartments, living it up and offer social services, and these fellas, they paying for. Listen, man, Bahamas, wake up, tried the PLP. We've tried the FNM. It did not work. They don't care about us, and they show it every day. They talk down to us. They belittle us. You can't go to no government office and get nothing. And they talk about it. And while they eat caviar, and they travel, and their cronies, and their buddies, and their sweetheart, go with them. Hell no. I say no. No more. Not in this country. Not with our money. We will be dictating what we want done. We will deciding what we want done. People, wake up. Have a good night, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
803-5995 is a number. We'll be going along tonight, but this was a good conversation. I want to show you all something again. I'm sharing my screen again. Do you know what this is, Professor? Do you know? It's going to come on the screen in the back of you in a sec. Hold the line, caller, you're next. Just hold the line. This medal right here was given out by this week was given out by the Governor General. This medal was given out to the Governor General. Look what it says on the medal. Bahamas, Haiti. Yes.
Wait now, wait.
That was given out by the Governor General.
Wait.
This week. Cynthia Matapratt. They defiled this country again. If Bahamians don't see what's going on, this was given out by the Governor General. This Bahamas, Haiti, our Bahamas colors, and they put Bahamas there and Haiti there. And then they have the emblem on the bottom of it with stuff
So,
from Haiti's flag look like. Cindy Mother Pratt this weekend, and I have a picture of her giving it out, gave this out. There should be nothing from this country with Bahamas and Haiti on it. That is a disrespect to the people of this country, to our mothers and grandmothers who fought to build this nation, to make this an independent and sovereign nation. For this government to have their governor general, who should know better, to put that in writing and engraved. Do you know what kind of spiritual manifestation that you are doing by engraving that? And then giving that, she gave that to Defense Force officers. All right? You will remember recently, we had call and come to you issue where we had an athletic event, and you'll remember this right here. You remember this. This government allowed this team to compete called the Bahamas Haiti All Star. This is an international track and field event. The 4 by 400 meters relay, and that is what is on the screen. What are they? It's happening right before your eyes. And they are trying to say that we are xenophobic. In Haiti, they wouldn't let that happen. They would defend their nation and their sovereignty. This has nothing to do with xenophobia. This is about pride, national pride and culture, man. Defend your nation, stand up for your nation. Don't let the FNM and PLP sell us out. Bahamas, stand up. Have dignity and pride for what grandmother and grandfather fought for, what mommy fought for, what nana fought for. Our people slaved this land.
there can be no two nations in one. We cannot marry
Hold on,
two
caller, coming to you right now.
cultures. And if you, as a Bahamian, cannot see that your country is being given away right from under you, that those who are in power are deliberately attempting to replace the face of this country, the people of this country, with another nation, you need to open your eyes. Don't let them talk about xenophobia. We have problems with foreigners. No, we have a problem with them, with them selling our country.
You could have a man insult Bahamians, curse out Bahamians, say that we stupid and we dumb, and their children smarter than us, and say how they taking up all the land, they buying up all the land, cash, and Bahamians broke, bragging about that, insulting Bahamians. And then you're invited to the Prime Minister office for to commemorate Dorian. You talking? Who insulted the Bahamian people? In no other country, including Haiti, would that be allowed. None. If you go to Haiti and you insult those Haitians like that, you think the Prime Minister or President can invite you to any event to talk? This happening right in front of Bahamians' eyes. Let's go to the caller. Caller, you're live. Thanks for holding.
Good evening, Mr. Bean.
Good evening.
Listen to me. Cynthia Mother Pratt must be a Haitian herself, because there's no way a woman of integrity can stand there and give out medallions to the Defense Force officer and not know what was on it. So she has to be a part of it.
Wow.
Red Davis don't care about what's going on in this country with his Haitian backside. So we need to know what's going on. Bahamians need to just stop taking handouts and just open their eyes and reject the handouts that's given to them. $50, $500, $1,000 is nothing when you lose or when they win. Because if they win, you'll be in trouble, and they will let you know the $5 to $50, the $100, you've already been paid. We don't owe you nothing. Pay him in straight up, get your mind sorted out. You tried to F&M, to PLP, now get it right. Have a
Yeah.
good evening.
Thanks for your call. I appreciate it.
It's probably why one particular person said that there is no requirement for someone to speak English in order to become a Bahamian citizen. They want it that way. It's by
Yes.
design. But the thing with the coalition is we're gonna change that. We're gonna do a systemic change. We're gonna stop all that is happening to Bahamians. We're gonna
Hold the line,
stand.
caller, you next.
We're gonna stand as we always stand for the rights of Bahamians first and above all.
Caller, you're live. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Ben. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Mr. Ben, I'm sure you watched the UN speech. Did you take anything from Mr. Trump in his speech?
Well, before I get to Mr. Trump, I took a lot from Brave Davis' speech. Brave Davis spoke out for other nations and not for the Bahamas. I was sickened by what I saw. In any other nation, they would have been chastising their leader. This man talked about Palestine situation. He talked, 50% of what he talked about was about Haiti. The only thing he said about the Bahamas is climate change. He talked about Haiti having all these issues with crime and corruption, drugs, guns, everything else, every issue they have, but didn't talk about our issue. He talked about putting money together and raising funds to help Haiti. But we need the money. We need real leaders. He talked about the leadership issue. This man talked about Haiti and not about us.
His people.
Jesus. Yeah, caller, continue.
Yes, Mr. Ben. I just wanted to get your opinion on Mr. Trump's statement on illegal migrants in, I guess, the European countries and in America. I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Hold on, before you go. In terms of illegal immigration, Trump knows that the Bahamas is a conduit for illegal immigration, and we're suffering because of it. I wanted to say this, so I'm going to say this now. I know of Bahamians who recently were going on a cruise and they got a visa. They applied for a visa, and their visa was one time only for the day of the cruise, and that was it. One time only. This is not something that used to happen in the Bahamas. And y'all can screenshot this and send this around. Because we are allowing our country and our borders to be corrupted, we are mixing up with all these other people. That is causing us a problem. You'll remember when Trump said after Dorian, yeah, I love the Bahamians. I want them to come in. They're good people, but they letting the Haitians come in. And there's some bad Haitians that we don't want in our country. So because of that, the Bahamians can't come. We used to get indefinite visas. Now we don't. Indefinite meant it never expires. Can you imagine that? Even your police record expires. We used to get visas that don't expire from America. But because we start letting these people come in, and America don't know who is who now, we in problems. Now we got to pay more for visa. Xenophobia? Just going on a cruise. And instead of getting the one-time visa, to defend their nation. What do you want me to comment on?
I mean, basically just what he was talking in terms of,
Whole times of changing the culture. That's what happens when you don't control your body. One food in Iraqi is now griot and pickles. Um, we got to get this together, man. We have to. It's not a bad thing. Haiti protects their borders with their constitution. They say you can't own land in Haiti if you're a foreigner. You can't own land. That's their law. Is that xenophobic? That's in their law. You can't run for none unless you're a Haitian of origin. Their law, and in some positions you gotta own property and have a business. Means you have an interest in that you're a Haitian of origin. You own property, mean you got an interest. But we are considered bad for trying to protect us. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good night, COI. Hey, it's the Conky Show here. Listen, Bahamians, I was sitting in my dad, I was listening to the live trying to get a little north. Listen, we have to stand together. We have to go with the COI. It's the only people who fighting for Bahamians.
Yeah.
Don't even mention PLP and FNM. And guess what, Mr. Man? We need God with us too.
Yes.
That's what we need. These fellas are evil, bro. I don't even want to with them. And listen, Bahamians from there and far come together, man. Donate, let's walk the streets, get the trumpet speaker. A lot of people, I can tell you right now, Mr. Man, and I had a conversation with you. A lot of people go and see why they tired of FNM and PLP, and they talking old people. They tired. They had enough. That's it, my brother. Good night.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. All right, so we have to end it there. We done do over 3 hours today. This is the last call I could take. I'm so sorry if you were waiting, but we done do over 3 hours. We gotta go prepare for this bad weather tonight. All right, and there's some pea soup weather, so we gotta go find some pea soup. All right, Kentucky don't sell pea soup, eh? No, no, man, they falling off. Good evening, caller. You're live.
Good night, sir. I was wondering, sir, could we get together as Bahamians and go down by the immigration department and have a rally for the government to stop giving away our citizenship?
And that not only been arrested, we still on bail. In fact, we just signed bail yesterday. Yeah, all these years later, we still on bail because that's how serious we are about this. We ain't talking this like Pinta them. We fighting for this, all right? And so we've been arrested several times. We have no problem being arrested several more times, but the time is over to go and beg them to do what's right. We ain't asking them for nothing no more. Prime Minister like we've done before and begging him to do it. In fact, he did it because up in the election. They stopped giving out the visas for a minute. They announced permits, and then they went right back to it when it died down. All right. So we've already fought for that. They will never do what's right, and if they do it, they gonna lie and or they're gonna do it, stop doing it for like a couple of weeks and go right back to it. They are never gonna do what's right. Pintard, Brave, they have to remove them. We got to try something different. So the only thing we want to do is march to the polls. We gotta. I say this because new voters, because Bahamians all that's unregistered, all right, except for the young people just coming up. If which is these new Haitians with their new passport, comes to register, they don't have to show no proof of address. They can literally point to where they live. And they can point all over Nassau. And that's what they trying to get them all over to change the vote. Because before, they were mostly in Southern Shores, Carmichael is filling up everywhere with their people. All right. And they don't have to show any justification. And they I mean, it's criminal what's going on. So we just gotta get in our seat, talk to your friends, talk to your family. That's the only way the change is gonna happen. Talk to them and talk sense in their head, and we're gonna make this happen. All right.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, my brother. That's the last call I can take. I saw the phone was still beeping. Half hours tonight. So we it's half of a work day that we didn't put in. But we love doing this. We love educating the Bahamian people. And so, Fred, when you respond tonight, listen, you could call me all the names you want. They call Jesus the devil, and just you stop calling me the devil, Fred. You falling off. That's what you used to call me. But listen, when you call tonight, when you go live tonight, don't call me. Please. Just answer the questions, man. That's it. With all this other nonsense you're running on with, we just need to know what's going on. Why we spending dollars on school fees for these fellas? Why we spending millions of dollars in rentals for these people? Why? We have applying for um, giving estimates in two different names. 1 minute they are Zenith HR company, and the next giving estimate, and 1 minute they are innovative developments, which there's no company name that. All right. And if Zenith is trading as this, then whatever company you have the license, they should trade as that, or they should just stick with one. All right. We need to know. We need to know uh, if the permanent secretary at the time was getting his house renovated by these same people that got contract. We need to know. You see, the permanent secretary who was in now, uh, he helped these people help pay for the the schooling of Simon Wilson. And people at the ministry is saying that, man, they could go there and get stuff signed, get stuff done. We want to know if that is so. All right. So the same way these fellas who seem to be controlling things paid for the schooling of Simon Wilson. See, so much I couldn't get to today. And that's the same thing now you're all doing. Simon Wilson, remember the fellow that was holding hands with another man? I hope that was like AI. I hope that wasn't real. Because now they're paying for school fees of these fellas. And it's like they billing their army. You see, you got the illegals building their army against us. You got these other people with this other agenda building their army. The other legal foreigners building their army against us. And it's only us left to stand. Well, we can stand. We can stand for righteousness, and we can stand for our country, our nation. And that's it. And that's all.
God move, Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Stand we shall.
We shall. We shall. And we are not afraid. So Fred, name calling, that's what children do. All right? We're not interested in that. We know you're gonna come and lie and me, try to set me up with something, try to bring up some other nonsense and all that, and they keep talking, but who I in relationship, who I ain't in relationship with. But if they thought I was in a relationship with man, they wasn't gonna say nothing. Fred, them have a problem if they think you in a relationship. They have a problem with that. You see? Because these some sick people. You see? So, Fred, let's deal with this, eh? Let's deal with this. Let's deal with all these stuff. All right. So that's all we could do for the day. I thank all of y'all for tuning in. I'm sorry I didn't check on more of these texts, but we coming to take this country. We coming to take this country. Vaughn Miller Force, your land. Golden Isles, people of Golden Isles, we have a great gentleman who is running there. His name is Mr. Brian Rule. All right, Brian Rule is running there. He is a businessman, very skilled. He deals with IT work, very professional at that. He does work for the big companies in this country, very reputable. and he's decided he's had enough. Very intelligent, and we are sending him uh, to take Golden Isles. And so he may be the first elected COI in the House. So Hiram, you got some company coming. All right, Hiram, hold the fort. Also, Hiram Lewis was doing some charity work that was very impressive. They got some stuff together. Um, yeah, they got some work done. I'm trying to see where this was. By the Special Needs Shelter at Christ the King Auditorium. All right. He volunteered his time and talent, to unpack, set up. They did the courts, cubicles, all this kind of stuff. It was a lot of work down there. Hiram went down there and volunteered his time. The whole process took about 2 hours, and they got it done. So Hiram is still down there working hard and getting things done. So we might have some rain tonight. People of Pinewood, hope is coming soon. It's a guarantee we could fix that flooding problem, because when you flood, I flood. We could fix that flooding problem. All right? So don't worry. Just vote for change. Their worst nightmare is me in the House of Assembly. We could fix Pinewood. And last thing I'll say today, I actually spoke to the funeral of Tehran Neely. Tehran Neely, they say, was a gang leader. And he grew up in Pinewood where I grew up. And I actually went and I spoke to his funeral. Normally before I speak at a funeral, I sing. That's something I've been doing from I was young. And but I spoke. And the reason that I did that, none of the other politicians came, is because I identify with the young men of Pinewood. I grew up in Pinewood Gardens, a community they made. They created that problem to get rich off of us. Our mothers had to work 2 jobs and couldn't tend to us. We had to raise ourselves. A lot of those young men were good young men when we were growing up. I didn't grow up with Tehran. He was younger than me. I did grow up with his brothers. And I saw when a lot of good young men of my age started going to the streets for survival. And then I saw where there were some institutions that would grab some of us and change our lives, but they couldn't do for everybody. I had people who contributed to my life. I was always in church or music or singing or martial arts or whatever I was doing. It kept me off the streets, and that saved me. And I wish we could have saved more of the young men that I grew up around. But I wanted to be there because I wanted to let the young people in Pinewood coming up know that there's hope, that we have some great people there. Because all our young people need is examples. Nothing transforms lives like examples. I wanted them to know that we have Grammy Award winners in Pinewood, that we have Miss Bahamas in Pinewood, that we have lawyers and doctors in Pinewood. We have big business persons in Pinewood. That one day, we had a commissioner of police who lived in Pinewood. Paul Roll actually was living in Pinewood when he was the commissioner of police. But one day, we're going to have a member of parliament who's actually from Pinewood, not someone the party sent. And one day, very soon, we're going to have a prime minister from Pinewood. That no matter what your background, your history is, that you could have a better life. That we can transform the lives of these young men. What was so powerful, I spoke on the fact that we need a village to raise our children. What was so powerful is that when they did the altar call at Tehran Neely's funeral, this got no attention. The amount of young men that came up, bad boys, monsters, that came up for prayers and to transform their lives was powerful. Tehran Neely was gone, but a lot of the young men that he left, went to the altar. That brought tears to my eyes, literally. To see them, they want hope. Many of them don't want to be doing what they're doing. But there's no hope in this nation. We need a new nation, a new country. And that's what I went there for, to inspire them, that we can aspire for something greater. And to the mothers of Pinewood, We can't have a prime minister from Pinewood Gardens. We can. And you all saw all those young men who came to the altar, tears in their eyes. Some ankle bracelet on, came to the altar at the Ryan Neely's funeral. Now, all we need is our churches and our civil society and our organizations to step up. When I was growing up, parents send you to Boys Brigade, you gotta go. I had no choice. Boys Brigade, RA, Girls Guide, Girls Brigade, you gotta go. And they kept us off the streets. We are going to invest heavily in youth organizations. Heavily. Because I know it saved me from a community that I grew up in. I know it saved me. Thank you all for tuning in. We wait for Fred Mitchell to say, we didn't empty our clip. We just shoot a couple. And we'll be back with more. We don't want to focus on that. We just wanted to bring to the attention that that Ministry of Foreign Affairs is being run like a dollhouse. Send an SIB to lock me up. But answer all the questions that we brought up today and all the allegations that we brought up today. Don't run on. Don't name call. I mean, you could if you want to. We don't care about that. But while you're name calling and cussing, answer the question, Fred. In between that little steak and caviar you eating right now in New York, answer the question, Because while you're eating steak and caviar, some people don't even have corned beef to eat. We ain't playing with y'all. We taking this country back. See y'all next time.